They better not screw up the Phoenix story, man.
Oh, come on. They can only screw it up. Look, right now, in my opinion, and right now,
time. I gotta get my kids, man.
yeah, no, I mean, we're done now. This is just, I would have ended it, but then you started this Marvel shit.
Pop up the 4-door with the 440 was 1, 2, 3, and 4. Chilling in the corridor. Your dad is 44, and he's still calling man for a draw. Let him know. When I see him, I'm gonna spin his jaw. Take man 6 by force. Send man shot by force. Your girl knows I've got the force. No ketchup. Just sauce. Raw sauce. Boom. Yo. The thing goes up. Skitty tip pop pop. And the poop 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 boom. Skia. Poop 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 boom. Boom boom. I said man's not hot. I said a man's not hot. The girl told me take off your jacket. I said babes, man's not hot. I said man's not hot. I said a man's not hot.
Did you see
Bacon.
It?
What's up?
Did you see It?
No, because the horror stuff is not my thing, man.
So good.
I know but you know what? I will say this. In terms of remakes, the response I've been hearing from people, that's not what I'm used to.
Yeah, no, it was great, man. Like,
I'm used to people saying this shit sucks, and I've not heard a bad response yet.
well, I read the book when I was a kid.
Okay.
You know, I think the book came out in, 86? And I read it shortly thereafter. I had to have been about 14 or 15 when I read it. I believe I was in 8th grade or a freshman in high school, so that would have been 86, 87.
Mm.
And the book scared the shit out of me, man. That was the last Stephen King book that probably really...
Did it scare you
frightened
because
me?
of the book or the size of the book?
Yeah, right. So it's like 1,047 pages or something like that. That never... The size of a book was never an issue for me unless the book was just rote and boring, you know?
Yeah.
But there's some pretty heavy imagery in the book, and there's some the subtext is pretty gruesome too, you know? There's a lot about growing up and the trials and tribulations of being a kid, but then there's a lot of other things, you know, dealing with incest and
Oh, man.
things like
Is that in the movie, incest?
Well, it's alluded to,
Okay.
but it's not necessarily addressed out in the open. And the things that they changed in the book, or excuse me, the things that they changed in the film
Yeah.
to, I guess, make the film a little more palatable or to help with the pacing, didn't bother me at all. And that seems to be the consensus so far with people that know the book.
I'm not a horror movie guy, but do I want to see this movie?
Yeah,
I do.
it's just great. It's just done so well.
Okay.
Yeah.
Because most of the generic horror things, I'm like, even though, and my friend's like a Marine too, like, but I mean, because I see those things and I'm like, just turn around and punch him in the face. And it's like, man, fucking Jason is coming after you. It's like, are you going to really punch him in the face? Like, I know, but it's just, I don't know, man. It's like, dude, I ran away from all my problems. I don't want to see more people run away from all their problems.
No, it's that it is not that type of story.
It's not.
It's not people running away from their problems. It's actually about these kids confronting their problems and standing up to them.
Mm.
It's cool, man. It's like a Steven Spielberg film that goes off the rails.
Oh, wow. He's doing a movie, too. He's doing Ready Player One.
I just bought the book. I never read it. You know, I never read the book, and I just bought it on Saturday. I'm not going to plug any stores, but I bought it. I bought it on Saturday.
Okay.
So I'm looking forward to reading it because the trailer looks great.
My friend was way more hyped than me because of all the attachment properties that are in the trailer.
Yes.
But I didn't notice them because the trailer definitely had a color scale, like of a lot of gray and silver.
Yes.
So I was like, dude, I didn't see any of that. And then I went through the list and I was like, all right, it's there and it's there. But that color tone, like, man, you need to look for some of those things in the trailer at least. Maybe in the movie it'll be more apparent. Like, oh, there's the Acura bike.
Right.
Or there's, I don't remember what else is in there. But
Freddy.
Yeah, there's stuff like that.
The DeLorean.
Oh, I saw that one, though. That one should be gray. That one
Yeah. The Acura bike. Now,
it's
there.
It is there.
I remember seeing the bike going, what do I know that? How do I know that? Oh, So there. Okay.
How do you think that works out, like copyright wise? Is that like
That's what I was wondering. That's what I was wondering too. You know, if all that intellectual property that wasn't appropriated. You know, I mean, they had to pay
yeah?
for those images, for the likenesses.
Do the books have to do the same or no?
You know what? That's an interesting question, because if in a book, it would be like, I guess that would be akin to parody in a sense. I'm not quite sure, because you're not really using you're not using the device as Freddy or Akira. It's becomes a device to move the story. But I haven't read it yet.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I don't know. It's a
Damn.
good question.
There
Are we
go.
being filmed already?
Oh yeah, I've been started. This ain't even. We didn't technically start, but I think we were gonna use this. So why not?
All right, cool.
Because usually I say podcasts and stuff, and then we started and go into stuff. But like, I'm like, no, we're gonna keep going down this road.
Yeah,
And
man.
eventually, I'll get to you.
Organic.
All right. Yeah, I saw you comment. You didn't seem too pleased with that Star Wars 9.
It's not that I'm displeased with it, you know.
The petition. It was a petition. You
Yeah.
know, people are doing stupid shit. They have a petition to get rid of J.J. Abrams for Star Wars 9.
Sure.
Yeah.
I mean, we're all critics and everything, but I think the thing that sets, the democratization of the internet allows everybody to have a voice, which is both the greatest thing in the world and the
Yep.
fucking worst thing in the world.
Give them the curse.
Yeah, you have. Yeah, it's like the catch-22.
Yeah.
You have all these ding dongs that come out and just troll, for the sake of trolling because they don't have anything better to do. And, if you're so upset about JJ and what he did with The Force Awakens, which I thought was great, but I also understood what he was trying to do. He was trying to turn on a new generation of Star Wars fans. Like, I was 4 years old when I saw it. I think JJ, we're about the same age.
Yeah.
He might be a year older. So we were both 4 or 5 when we first saw Star Wars. It wasn't A New Hope. It wasn't Episode 4. It was just Star Wars.
Yeah.
And my mom took me to see it, and my mom said that I actually stood up in my seat in our first viewing, and I told everybody in the theater to shut up because I was trying to watch the film. So like, I was hooked immediately. And I think that's what JJ was doing, but not only was he trying to hook a new generation, he's also hooking the girls, which was awesome.
Oh yeah.
They kind of gave the property to the girls with Rey, and then of course with Rogue One.
They continue that pattern. Yeah.
Yeah, and we had that with Leia, but I think it was again
It's different.
It was more. It was kind of understated, or the focus was on Luke,
And the Leia is a more traditional role. Versus her being the lead.
Yeah.
Both of them.
So, if all these people that want to, petition JJ and get him off and whatnot, it's like, well, why don't you just do something constructive and then create your own thing like Troops or something? If you have it all fucking figured out and you can do a better job than JJ, then do something cool, instead of wasting all this energy trying to get him off the job. Find a way to take his job in the future. That's not how you're gonna get it. They're not gonna. Kathleen Kennedy is not gonna get rid of J.J. Abrams because he's gonna deliver something awesome with Episode 9. Because
I hope he does. I mean, because I feel like my thing with Force Awakens was just that if I didn't know a movie could be both, and that's the movie. That movie was both remake and sequel, and it just left it was very weird, feeling like. And it just did a lot of things. I can get into a little bit detail that I still remember. To me, it wiped out everything that movie 6 did. Everything that, maybe for the purposes of telling the dramatic story, everything that they accomplished in 6, or the growth they achieve as people, is all removed. And now we're just starting again. You got the general, but now he's over here being what is Han Solo?
Smuggler.
Yeah,
Again.
now he's right back to that. Princess Leia, I guess she's still at least her general role, right, or whatever. So she's maybe that, but they're not even together no more. You know what I mean?
But 30 years.
Yeah, but I mean that's and for the purposes, 30 years in real life also happened, not just in movie time.
Yeah.
But one of my pet peeves, but again, this is real life also, so it makes more sense. But one of my pet peeves is always I hate growth in a story off camera. like that, I hate that shit.
It leads us to we wonder, our minds wonder.
Yeah,
too
like
much,
at least like,
too many questions.
and they were banking off the fact that this is Star Wars, we can answer them in one of these sequels, you know, and I get that. But so there's a lot of unanswered stuff. And then it seemed like they wanted to play a bigger role. I really thought that they would all three be there, but we're going to pass the torch real quick and everybody else was going to run.
Yeah.
And I don't mind them sticking around. But yeah, the loss of everybody's role. You can argue Han Solo steals the movie in the middle of the movie and he's like, "Thank you, Ray." He takes it back one last time, you know? Like, let's do this again. Oh, it was just a weird vibe. Like, let alone Ray, like, kind of becoming a Jedi on her own at the very end, too.
I had, believe me, I had all the same issues, but I'll go back to my initial argument in that JJ was trying to.
I get it, and I get it.
And you know what?
He probably succeeded, I think.
Oh, he totally did, because
Yeah.
I was that kid again when I watched The Force Awakens. You know, I was on the edge of my seat the whole time. And everything was familiar because we're kind of repeating the same.
Yeah.
We're kind of getting the same path that's happening, you know, in a sense. And
My friend calls it the JJ sauce.
yeah, it was. But I enjoyed it, man. It was fun, and all my friends, you know, that all of us from the same generation, we grew up with the original trilogy, you know, playing a big part in our lives and having the figures. They all felt the same way. Everybody was super stoked and happy about it, and they were all their criticisms were also the same. But, you know, we had another Death Star and we had another sand planet.
More of that, yeah. You can
Yeah.
go on and on. Yeah, you see,
We had another trench run. You know? I'm like, yeah, but it felt good to do it again. It just felt good. And JJ's love, I sound like such a tool, and his spirit were totally, it was in that film because he grew up loving those films. And so he basically made what he loved again in his own package.
Yeah, and yeah, I just wanted you to keep going forward. That's it.
Yeah. And
Darth Vader, like his whatever it is, his son worshiping Darth Vader. I'm like, but he's on the Force now. He's good. You didn't see the ending,
Right.
This is what I'm
Right.
saying. There's a lot of things where it was like, let's just retcon Return of the Jedi. There's no Ewoks. There's
Well, I'm sure we're going to get a lot of that explained to us in the next film.
maybe.
Ryan Johnson's a great filmmaker, and you know, Looper.
And he didn't get fired like everyone else seems to be getting fired.
No, and they, from what I understand, Kennedy asked him if he would do number 9. He said
Really?
no. Mm-hmm.
Oh, because I was almost hoping for that. Why? He just wants to just move on, or like just keep going
I
forward.
guess so. You know, maybe he feels like he told, you know, the D part of the story that he needed to, and he wants somebody else to continue with it.
Mm.
After I saw Jurassic World, was it Jurassic World?
Yeah.
Yeah, and they fired Colin Trevorrow. I was very happy about that.
I don't like that movie. Even though I know it's like one of the top things ever, like in terms of money. But I don't. But yeah, it just seems like Force Awakens has this whole epic vibe. So like, I can complain, and you know what? I still like it, and I'll still watch it again. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But Jurassic, I don't need to see that shit again.
I think
I'm sad I saw it one time. You know what I mean? Like,
that movie pandered to the lowest common denominator of cinema goers in the United States.
Yeah, that wasn't fun. And I think it's getting a sequel. So
Running with velociraptors, they're trained now. I'm like, this is ridiculous.
oh, shout out to Chris Pratt.
I like Chris Pratt. I think he's a great actor.
I had blocked that out of my mind. I
He's a lot of
forgot he
fun.
trains those guys. Yeah, like, those are his dogs now.
He is able to inject cockiness and humility into his roles. I think that's cool.
Should they have done, instead of doing a new Indiana Jones, which at least it's forecasted?
Oh.
Should he have done a young Indy? Chris Pratt?
I don't know. After, man, the Crystal Skull.
I still haven't seen it because it's just I hear such bad stuff.
Ah,
Okay. I
Man.
just found out a few months ago that there's aliens at the end of that movie.
oh yeah, yeah. I don't know what happened on all fronts there, and I'm not going to blame anybody. It just wasn't a good film. You know, the acting felt flat and the story felt...
Did Lucas do that one?
He produced it and Spielberg directed.
Okay, so like if they really do another one, do you think he even gets to be involved the way kind of Disney is like, thank you, like you did your, you know, you sold it, it's over, you know, like you lost.
I don't know, man. I don't know. I think George Lucas is a great storyteller. Red Tails was a good film. I don't know if you saw it, about the Tuskegee Airmen.
Oh yeah, yes. It
was really good, and that was something that he'd been working on for a really long time. And I mean, a lot of the, gosh, we're just talking about Lucasfilm.
Why not? The
dogfights in Star Wars were based off of, you know, combat footage that, you know, Lucas had studied from World War II and so on and so forth. And the story of the Tuskegee Airmen was a really big deal for him. And he'd been working on that project, you know, on his own time for a really, really long time. And from what I understand, he financed the whole thing, which he did that with the prequel trilogy as well, because he's George Lucas.
Yeah.
He rewrote the way films were made and distributed and licensed. I don't know about Indy. Crystal Skulls, man. I saw it one time and I walked out of the theater with I like that question mark. And thought about it, and slowly over the years have just become increasingly more frustrated over that debacle.
I think he probably suffers from, not to even compare us to him, but just the artist's mind, you know, like he did those things already, Indy or Star Wars.
Yeah.
So he probably does it because there's a clamor for it more than he really wants to do it. And that's why you can get a decent Red Tails versus prequels or Indy 4, you know?
The prequels, man. There's some great moments in each of those films.
When they loop them now, when I see it at HEB walking down the aisle and they loop some of that stuff, I'm like, ugh. Like, they didn't hold up over time, you know?
Yeah.
Versus some other Star Wars. And a lot of that is because he gave in to computers, you know?
Yeah.
So watching, what's his name, Ewan McGregor, dude, it's just like he's just hanging out with green screen. Like it's just him just walking, and you can tell right away. You know, and this is just HEB. I'm like not even literally trying to study it, you know? Like
yeah, yeah. That was, man. Yeah, 3 not so great films. That's for sure.
I love me some Darth Maul though.
That was one of the redeeming qualities. And Ewan McGregor and the Emperor. Okay. Ian McDiarmid was always great, you know.
I really like what he does. Yeah, exactly. That's what I'm saying. Like,
unlimited power. This is silly. No,
I think for me it'll always be just Darth Maul, and I love the way that whole fight scene, like
at the end of Menace.
Yeah, they both fight him, right? They both fight Darth Maul.
Yeah, that was great.
Liam Neeson. And then I think just that moment, like it took me a while to even appreciate it. I think it was pointed out to me, but like when the doors are cutting them off.
Yeah.
And the difference between them where the anxiety of pacing back and forth versus he just sits there and meditates.
Yeah.
That's a great scene.
Yes, it is.
That's a great.
That's what I'm saying. Like there's little elements, and Liam Neeson too. You know, putting somebody like that into the film was great. Samuel L. Jackson, he sucked in those films. He wasn't good. You know, he wasn't good.
Well, he's always Sam Jackson, pretty much. I mean, at that point, that's when he goes from playing roles. I mean, he probably did it way before that movie, but you know, once he got to a certain level, he's like, I'm Sam Jackson.
Yeah.
No matter what, you know, like,
right?
Just like Pacino, like once he got to that Yo role, you know, like. What is it in '92 that
Scent of a Woman?
Yes, like he never stopped. Yeah, he just never stopped.
That's a great film, though.
Yeah, it is, and he still has like decent ones here and there, but he just kind of like, I'm gonna do this for now. I'm Pacino, like that's.
Yeah, he wasn't Michael Corleone. Whatever his name was in Dog Day Afternoon. I can't think of that's a true story, right? Yeah. That's a great movie, man.
Yo, so I should probably ask, like, Who am I with today? Normally
Oh.
I asked that earlier, but yeah, like we just started by accident, so I was like, why not?
Oh man. I'm Chris Klein. Hello. That's who I am. That's about it.
Damn.
That's all you get, man.
Who is Chris Klein?
I'm just an old man now.
Oh man, just old man.
I'm
Old
just an
man Klein?
I'm just an old man.
Old man
Yep.
Klein? That's,
Nothing.
It's your Logan?
Yeah. Yeah, except I don't have claws. Yeah, my brain is failing.
You have digital ones. You have digital. I don't know what
Yeah,
they call it.
I don't know. Yeah, I don't know.
You have a digital mouse, PT. In the box, you got claws.
I don't know, man. I'd rather have a razor blade and analog tape. That's what I like. That's what I like.
The world left that though.
No, there's still a bunch of
There's
us that-
pockets. There's pockets.
Yeah,
but,
we still, some of us still do it. You know, hopefully I'll do that this weekend in San Francisco. If I can talk the band into it, you know, I'll see if we can record a tape, and then after we're done tracking the tape, we'll dump everything into Pro Tools. So we'll see what happens. So that's what I do. I'm a nerd. That's what I do. I make music, just not in San Antonio. I make music in San Antonio, but not with San Antonio. Does that make sense?
I get that.
There's some logic to that, right?
So this is what I was gonna say before, and I've said it. I feel bad for the people. I do these shows. I interview people, but I'm like, man, I feel like I'm also telling my story. If you combine all of them,
no, of course, man.
Because I mean, you know, we always talk bad about San Antonio, but I feel like this year was the happiest I've been in San Antonio.
That's awesome.
But you know why? It's because I removed myself from the music scene. So like once I did that, like it was like this weight was lifted off me, and I'm like, oh, this city ain't too bad. But it's because I don't need to do any of that stuff.
Yeah, the emotional investment has been
yeah. So I kind of really literally just live here.
Right.
I got my family and I got my friends, but I'm not trying to do nothing with the infrastructure anymore.
Right,
you know?
right.
So I'm like way more happier now.
Yeah, no, I totally get that. You know, I did the same thing. You know, I mean, I work with a couple of people here in the city, but I mean, when I say a couple of people, I quite literally mean a couple of people. You know.
Yeah.
And it's because, you know, I respect what they do. You know, that they are musicians and engineers, producers, arrangers. I'm not going to say any names, but if they happen to see this, they'll know that I'm talking about them, because I think both of these guys are really, really talented.
Plus, it's only a couple, so
yeah, and they really are. And I know that at least one of them feels the same way that I do in many aspects about San Antonio and why things don't necessarily work here. And I'm not saying that they can't work here, because they can. You know, I mean, there's some really great talent in San Antonio, but I think that one of the many problems is the talent in the city needs to do a better job of lifting each other up and supporting each other and building community. And I know people are going to say, well, there are communities here and this and that, and
those people won't hear this show. You good? Those people.
If they do, that's fine. You know, I certainly don't want to offend anybody. I know that I have probably offended more than enough people in the city with my opinions, and you know, sometimes you have to be offended, or you have to take the opinions if you want to grow. And I think that's a big problem here, is that people. Here's a great example. I'm going to use you. You had made a post about a venue in San Antonio.
Oh, the classic post.
Not being prepared. And, you know, I responded and I said, I'm, you know, sorry about your woes, you know, and blah, blah, blah. But, you know, if a person is going to set themselves up as any sort of a establishment that's a service industry, you know, having a venue, or even if you're a recording engineer or, you know, an arranger, you are providing a service. And if you're doing that, you're putting yourself into especially if you're a venue, into the public spotlight. And if somebody is going to criticize you for your faults or that person's perceived faults, you need to take that. You need to be able to take that professionally and not immediately attack. You need to respond, but don't attack. You know, and that's what that person did. And there's a lot of that. I see a lot of that.
That was a lot of people did. And then he at the same time he also messaged me right after that, but like at that point it's like I didn't even want to deal with it, you know. So I never
Right.
responded to him in private matters, only like publicly,
Right.
because I was like, yeah, it just seemed like it came. The private message was more from a place of like pretty much like, dude, I do stuff for the scene, like, and you don't. You know, like, and it was just like, well, I didn't, what are we doing here then? Like, why would I even keep talking then? You know?
Right.
You know, like,
Right. I see you do more for the local scene than most other people because you engage the local scene by, for one, reposting what people are doing when it comes to projects. You do that with everybody all across the board.
and I've chilled out about it because I noticed no one else does it, so I've kind of slowed
Well,
down,
and
unless it's like people from the circle.
Right.
But yeah, because no one was doing it anyway. You know what I
Right,
mean?
but that's not the way to respond. You just keep on doing it because I'm keep on hitting the mic.
Oh, yeah,
What's a microphone? Magnets. How do they work?
you're like better at this than me. You should know that.
Right. What is this thing? I like that YouTube video where the girl's like singing into the counterweight on the boom. It's like that's not a microphone. Just tapping it. No. But yeah, a lot of people here don't do that, and you do. You've been really, really diligent about that, and that's great. And that's one of the main ways you foster community, you know, organically, and to see that growth. And heck, you know, I see these organizations here in town that are, you know, claiming to want to do the same thing, but I don't see those actions on Twitter. You know, I don't see them. Maybe there's a little bit more of it on Facebook, and I don't follow these groups. Every once in a while, I check on them just to see like have they changed their game yet to improve what they're trying to do, and I don't ever really see that. You know, I don't see any kind of growth. And I went to one of their meetings. You were there.
Yeah.
I went to one of those meetings, and I was at one point was asked to sit down and to keep my comments to myself, which I'm like, well, you know, you got to hear these things. And another person, when they were trying to create more events for a program where their marketing wasn't even in place, I'm like, well, you need to address these other things before you want to start doing more. You know, you need to fix what's not working to see any kind of growth to begin with. But you're talking about creating more events and whatnot when this stuff isn't even working. And I verbally gave him a list of, you know, here's the things that you might want to consider. And then I was asked, well, can you write down all your ideas? And I'm like, oh, I do this for a living, but I also want to support community, but I'm not seeing that from you. You know, I'm not seeing that. And maybe they are, you know?
Yeah.
And I hope, I mean, God, I wish them all the best.
At that point, they were the question mark society. Because, I mean, at that point, I couldn't even tell you what they did either. Like, that was a lot of people's question.
But what are they doing?
Now, I have no idea right now. Like, this moment, I know at last winter, they won that $25K from the government,
Yeah.
and then they did a research, I guess some local music economy research thing.
Mm-hmm.
And then they submitted that maybe over a month ago, and then someone posted, hey, what happened to these results? And I guess it's at some point it will be revealed by, I think, the government part. And
Those results should be public because they were funded from public funds.
So I believe they will be revealed, but I don't know.
And I'm curious as to, you know, who was heading up, you know, the research, and who had the tools to do both. You know, this was going to be qualitative and quantitative research. You know, who had those tools? Because
I almost helped them with one of those things because they were paying people for it. But I mean, once I learned a little bit more what it was, and then like combined with the paying versus like time and effort, I didn't even do it. But
yeah,
I know like one of the research things we were going to do is, it was just like a list of all these music related entities from venues to other people.
Yeah.
And like surveying them, you know, and stuff. So that was the part I was going to help in. I don't know what else they did though. I mean,
right.
Yeah.
Well, you know, as we were saying before this was being recorded, there's a real lack of perspective here in San Antonio, and you can say that about any place.
Yeah.
You know, but you know, when the people here that are trying to initiate these projects and stuff, when they don't have any real experience being a part of music scenes, communities that actually do thrive, that see progress, that learn from their mistakes, and have a robust toolbox. Well, what are these people here that have never been a part of that? What are they using? What is their perspective? I see branding issues all the time here. I see brands that get used over and over, and brands that are associated with failure. I see musicians that, say that they're a part of the local scene, not going out and supporting the local scene.
That's the Grant clip, like literally.
Yeah. And when I was teaching at UTSA, I would always ask my students, are you a part of some sort of musical group, band, hip hop, whatever? And people would raise their hands. And I would always ask, well, do you sell merchandise at your shows? Yes, we do. Whatever it is, badges, stickers, CDs, flash drives, if anybody here, ever did that. And then I would ask, well, do you buy other people's merchandise? No, we don't. So you expect your peers to buy your merchandise because you're putting it out there, but you're not buying theirs. There's so many things that aren't where community's not fostering or promoting from within with each other.
Yeah.
And I know that people, if anybody watches them, well, yes, we are, fuck you, you know what you're talking about, and blah, blah, blah. And there's probably some truth to that too, because I'm fucking fallible. And if I have learned anything in my almost 45 years, it's that I'm a jackass too. And I mess up every day. But not to toot my own horn, I also know that I have had far, far more success in the music industry than most people in this city.
Oh, yeah.
And I'm not trying to brag, and I want to help people genuinely, like when you went out to California and trying to get you meetings with certain people and stuff.
You helped me a lot, dude. You're like, that's ridiculous.
Like I really want to help people, and a part of that help is going to come with, me saying things that people don't want to hear, or maybe being a little more pessimistic than optimistic at times. But I know that things can change here. They can. There's always room for change, but I think there's a big problem with perspective, current leadership. Here's another great example of where things could potentially be better. One of the music programs here in San Antonio, I'm not going to say which school, but I've reached out to this person a couple of times and have offered to, hey, I have a publishing and licensing company. I built this from the ground up all on my own. I've designed the website. I've, developed the back end so it's easier for music supervisors and producers and other people to come on and grab assets and define the music, and it's meta tagged and everything is, all sorted out. So it makes our life easier. And we're actually getting placements and stuff. I'm doing this work from San Antonio. And if you want to have somebody come in and talk, from a real world working perspective on what it means to try to sell your music to outside organizations for the hopes of placing in other media and to generate revenue, I'd be more than happy to do that. I'm not looking for money. I'm just trying to help the scene. I didn't even get a thank you. I didn't get any kind of answer at all. Not a professional, just, wow, that would be really, really great. We don't have room for that, but that would be really, really cool. Not even a thank you. And so if the leadership, even in our universities and post-secondary places of post-secondary education in San Antonio, can't even show professional courtesy to people that are actually working in the industry and whose reach extends far beyond San Antonio and has more of a global reach. You know, if leadership's not on board, then there's there's some real fucking problems there.
Yeah, no. I
You
mean,
know, and so, you know, here's one name I will say, and I will promote. Um, so I've been talking to the guys over at Imagine, and I've known Don for a long time. We worked together years and years and years ago at Apple Records before I moved back to Austin and San Francisco. And so we've been talking about doing a music business seminar series. Hopefully, I'm not going to upset Don by saying this because now it's kind of public, and we never made anything public. But talking about the different PROs.
I
And,
mean, if
you
you
know,
check today, you can always I can edit it out if you want to check. I don't know.
Don's such a sweetheart. I don't think he would care. And they actually do a lot to promote the local scene, to support the local scene,
Yeah, that place blew up
which is really
a
great.
lot compared to when you first introduced me to all
Yeah.
of them. That was one of my first shows ever, probably
Yeah.
my first venue. But the way it is now versus back then, it's tame back then.
They get it, and you know, Ezra is a super unaffected, sweet dude.
Yeah.
You know, I don't think there's any sort of his bones are just pure. He just wants to help people, and
Yeah.
he always has a smile on his face, and that's great. And so I think that kind of feeling has, you know, created something. And so anyhow, we've been talking about doing, you know, let's talk to the local musicians that need to protect their intellectual property about, you know, how the PROs work, how copyrights work, what they're going to do for you, how you can, you know, mechanisms that exist today to get your music out there to supervisors and others in the industry that didn't exist before, you know, when it was basically who do you know,
Yeah.
that type of game. And letting the students know, because I mean, if you look at some of these programs that are online, that have an online that don't have an online presence, honestly, it's frightening that some of these kids are, you know, going to these places of higher learning, and I really don't know what they're getting, honestly. You know, I had one kid tell me that one of the instructors at one of these schools told him that, well, if you can't make it in San Antonio, you can't make it anywhere. And I'm like, first off, you don't talk to your students like that. And there's just no logic to that, for one. If you can't make it in San Antonio, you can't make it anywhere. What are you saying? San Antonio's the pinnacle of the fucking music industry? You know, if I make it here, then I'm certainly going to make it in New York and LA, because the whole world is fucking eyes on San Antonio and what's happening here in the music industry, you know?
I assume when thought logically, it's because this place that isn't that great, if you can make it here. I think that's probably, hopefully, where they're coming from.
No, I know.
No, I know, but I'm just, I'm I hope, because there are those people who do think this is the Mecca.
I know.
That's why I'm like,
perspective.
I'm hoping it's coming from the first one.
And
because it'll create something, it'll create you so strong that you'll be great everywhere, you know?
Right. And that's another thing, you know, people here need to look outside of San Antonio, you know? Of course, you need to build something here that's going to be really, really meaningful. And I think that there are some musicians that really genuinely want that. But I think that there are others that are just in it for themselves 100%. And those people that say that they want to have community, they're not going to make it happen, because they don't care about community. And I think that's a big problem here. You know, I left San Antonio in 91 and never in a million years thought that I would live here again. It certainly wasn't a goal of mine, you know, and, you know, once my kids are done with school, we're gone, you know, we're
Countdown is on.
Yeah.
I'll put the clock in the video. I'll put
and you know, about 90 to 95% of the work that I do right now professionally comes from outside of San Antonio, and that's just because I have worked outside of San Antonio and have been fortunate enough to have things receive coverage, you know, nationally and internationally for whatever reasons. You know, I mean, I was just the engineer. The musicians are doing all the heavy lifting.
You got that reputation.
But you know, I know I'm not perfect, you know, and that's the thing, you know. Have gotten reviews that I'm just like, ooh, man, that is painful. Oh my god, you know. And I'll see reviews from early work that I did, and I'll listen to it, and I'm like, they're totally right, you know. You know, I mean, some critics, some music critics are really really great. I think some music critics are just critics because they're not good enough to be musicians. But there's some critics out there that are really, you know, they are what's the word I'm looking for?
Genuine.
Genuine. Yeah, they are objective in their criticisms. And you know, I've had reviews for work that I've done where I've just cringed, and that's part of it. Going back to like the venue owner, he got criticized and he like came out attacking. Well, you can't. And it's like, you know, when you put yourself out there like that, you have to be prepared to take the good with the bad, you know. And if you're not delivering, you need to figure out a way to fix that. You know, you need to figure out like, how can I improve this, or really be introspective and go, okay, so maybe that person was being too harsh, but maybe some of these things could be improved on, you know, instead of like coming back out. It'd be like me getting a bad review and, you know, reaching out to whomever and going, you're fucking wrong about that's bullshit, man. Your opinion is stupid. You can't say that about that record's fucking rad. Like that, you know, you can't do that.
See, like I know, like even as I was doing it, I know like maybe tagging the owner and doing all this public's probably not the best way. But at that point, I was just kind of done because this is like the norm, you know?
Yeah.
And some of the stuff, there was a bunch of shit that went on that night where it's like, we've always been behind, but like the strip has been picking up, and it's like, damn, to go back to this, like it just felt like when I was starting again, you know, like that, like little things. I want to go down the whole list, but like they had 3 mics, and it's like, you know who also has 3 mics? I do.
Right.
You know who has more than 3 mics? I bet you do. You know what I mean? Like, are we venues? Like, you know, like come on, man. Like, yeah. But you know what? I went back. I think a week or 2 ago, because a friend, I didn't want to go, but a friend from Austin was playing, and he asked me to come out, and I was like, dude, I don't know if I'm gonna go, dude, because I don't know, I just don't want to be into any whatever nonsense might happen. But I went, and my friend was saying, and just my perspective too, it looked like maybe they had some new stuff there, and it's like, who knows, maybe from poking, you know, the bear or whatever, that might have. Not to say it was all my fault it happened, sure, but that might have sparked something like, all right, maybe we should step our game so that maybe he looks worse, you know, like in the future, for doing something like that, well, you know.
Again, it's the service industry, and if, you know, as a venue owner, of course you're providing a service to your clientele, but a part of your clientele are the musicians that come in too, and you're providing a service to them as well. And part of that service is having, you know, a decent PA, you know, and that part of this is that's also for the people that are coming in. They're gonna, you know, they're running up the bar tab and they need a good PA too.
But when I started, that wasn't even normal, right? Like here, you know what I mean? Like we're just getting there.
I know.
I remember like there were certain people who I mentioned before off the recording who would the very least, they're very good about like posting topics they don't know nothing about. I remember one of the things that was posted was like, should a venue have a PA? You know, like whose responsibility it is, you know? And I was like,
it's the venue.
Yeah, I know. I was like, you know, like this was many years ago. It wasn't this year, but I mean, like, yeah. So that's why I was like, man, playing that night was like, it was just like going back in time.
Yeah.
Like, and then also, like I said, I removed myself. I think that was also part of me, like, man, let me just do this because it'll also push me away because I shouldn't be here anyway. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, you know, San Antonio needs a good studio too. There's not a decent studio in San Antonio. I mean, the only decent studio in town is, you know, they do a majority of their work is corporate jingle type work and stuff like that. It's a beautiful studio.
Yeah.
But you know, if a band wants to go in, and I don't think they're necessarily trying to look for that type of clientele. They charge so much, and I can go, you know, for instance, when I go to California this weekend, you know, especially in the Bay Area, there's so many amazing studios, you know, all throughout the Bay Area and San Francisco and in the East Bay and Oakland and Berkeley, Albany, and whatnot. And these studios are charging $350 a day, right?
Yeah.
And in these studios, you're getting, you know, like the studio that I'm going to, Light Rail, they have a Trident A range, which is a great console. It's an old British console. Really, really pretty tuned room. You know, lots of great outboard gear, distressors, old Neve, you know, Class A pre 1073s, and it's just a cool room.
Yeah.
You know, great selection of instruments. You know, and again, the rate, awesome. You know, you get an engineer for the day, and it's going to be another, you know, $350 to $500 a day for the engineer, depending on who it is. San Antonio doesn't have anything like that. And you know, if you want a decent room, you're going to go up to Austin, you know, and up there the rates, they get it up there, you know. But I know that there's a room that opened up here recently in the past year, and I think they're charging maybe $250 a day, and they're working with, like, from what I can tell, from what I've seen, you know, it's, you know, like they outfitted their space from Guitar Center, you know, whatever, a Soundcraft desk.
Start from the bottom, man.
Yeah, but then what they do is then they charge they have these rates of, well, you know, we'll mix a song for $50 a song. I'm like, what? That's what I charge an hour. Like I can't. People like professional engineers like me. This is going away from the studio thing. We can't even compete against that.
Yeah.
You know, I mix in my room here at my home, and yeah, I can't compete against that.
But I mean, the person going to them is probably going, unless there's some top tier engineer I don't know about. But yeah, they're probably going to them for a reason, you know, because like the level of music caliber, you know.
But what I'm saying is, you know, San Antonio needs to have a really good room, and I think.
But is there demand for that here? Like, do we have?
I think
the clients for that, you know.
I think at the right price, there could be. I think, you know, with a little bit of education, about, you know, the gear, and it's not, you know, you can't put all the value into the gear. You know, if you have a shitty guitar player with a shitty guitar rig, and then you have a $15,000 Elam microphone going into a $4,000 Neve preamp, you're going to have a really expensive shitty recording. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But if you have a good engineer, you've got great musicians that know their instruments, they know their rigs and everything, and you got decent gear, you're going to come out with something that really, really shines. Using the same engineer and the same musicians, you could probably still get a really, really great recording on a Mackie and a few, you know, SM57 58s, a couple of, you know, midline condenser microphones. But, you know, we really don't even have that here, you know? And there are a couple of places that could potentially change that if they would change their philosophies on rates and how they can get back to the community, but I don't know that that's a concern.
I mean, if you're making, I think what I find with a lot of people who, again, I was mentioning maybe off camera, was like, I think from their perspective, they're technically making it already.
Right.
Because it is their living, whether they're like top tier successful or not. So what incentive is there to do it? Like you just said, they're making it off of jingles.
Foster community. Oh, the jingle.
Well, yeah, you know, you're talking about something that has nothing to do with money. You're like foster community. Yeah, this is what I'm saying. Like, what's the incentive to change if their living's already covered? Something's working already. You know what I mean?
I mean, shit, at UTSA, we were subsidizing the program with our own equipment.
Yeah, no, I remember.
You know, and anything that we got were handouts. We never had a budget. You know. We wanted, you know, you guys to have a more meaningful experience. All it did for me while I was there is piss me off and make me more bitter about the situation, you know. But I wanted to see people succeed.
Yeah.
You know. So I think good things could happen here. We just need the right people with the right experience to
You need incentive to bring them here. You need tax breaks. That's what you need.
Well.
Work for Atlanta. It works for Atlanta.
Right. We just need the right people with a broader perspective, and that just know the industry, or that really understand how things can work, instead of, saying, well, Austin sucks, we can be better than Austin. It's like, well, you can say that over and over and over, but it hasn't happened yet.
I think, we keep chasing the rabbit instead of trying to just do us or something.
Yeah, or just lessons. Just what is actually working for them. How can we adopt that here? Baby steps, instead of like that. Like I had said at that one event, well, let's have more events. It's like, don't create more events. Fix what's not working before you do anything else.
I mean, only a certain amount of people are going to these events. This is the thing too, and then usually the successful events were going to be successful no matter who's playing these events. Like people lose track at that, it's just local music in general. Like there's probably, maybe it's a harsh, I don't even know if this is true, because like I said, I'm kind of removed now.
Mm-hmm.
I would say like none of the local bands here have a real following, and the people here who do have a real following or are successful or have made it, I just noticed they're not a part of the scene that we're talking about.
Right.
Like there's a guy who I may be able to get him on my podcast, but when I was doing the Red Bull stuff, I met him, right? He's doing really well. Like, he might probably on the cusp of making the music his living, But I've never seen him in the scene that we're talking about.
Oh, you gotta let me know who it is.
Oh yeah, I'll tell you. I mean, but yeah, he gave me a CD, and like, he has a good following on there, Of course, he's Spanish, so a lot of the sponsors are Spanish-based too.
Right.
So like, and the guy I always talk about Richie Branson as well. He's gone now. He's in San Francisco. So but he made it here. And he made it here via using the power of online.
Yeah.
I met him twice, and he told me, the infrastructure here just can't support what we do. You know what I mean?
Yeah, he's right.
He's like, had we been in Houston, might have been a different story because he's a rapper and stuff.
Yeah.
But he's a nerdcore rapper, so he just focused on that, building that online following.
Right.
And he only played one show in San Antonio his whole time here, under that brand, Richie Branson.
Mm-hmm.
And that was because he was opening for MC Chris, and the tour happened to be coming here, not even because he wanted it.
Yeah.
But I just noticed anyone who's successful from here is normally not part of that local scene.
Right.
That's something about that. There's some type of poison in there that I really didn't notice till the very end, that no one ever breaks out from there. But anytime I meet somebody, 'cause I've met other people too, like here and there, like, oh yeah, I do music for movies or something, and they're here, but they're not there. They're not in that scene.
Right.
They're just in this city, but they're not there. Like anytime they're successful, they're just removed. So there's something about that scene that,
right,
that's why I removed myself.
And the people that do start here, that a lot of people that start here that find success elsewhere.
Yeah.
Once they find that success elsewhere, you never hear them talk about San Antonio as being their home.
I just heard that, because I know you bring that up a lot. I just heard that from a friend. He's not even a musician. He's just a person, but he's been traveling the world for the last 3-4 years. This is pretty much just what he does right now. And he said he stopped telling people he's from San Antonio because no one knew what he was. He does the same thing everyone does. He says he's from Austin.
Yeah.
Because their response is, oh, I've heard about that place. It's cool.
Right. Or that place, whatever the situation is, took that person in, and they, developed a healthy career, doing music or whatever. And that comes back to community. There's a person in the music world right now that's doing really, really great, that's from San Antonio, and I don't know that I have ever seen an interview where he claims San Antonio as his home. It's either Brooklyn or North Texas.
Oh man,
it's never San Antonio.
Can you say the name or no?
I'm not going to say his name because I'm not going to speak.
This is like my only no-name podcast.
No, I'm not. I don't want to speak for anybody.
Sure.
Except for
the
nice fellas over at Imagine, because they're great.
Shout out to Imagine.
Because I don't want to, hurt
For sure, I get
anybody.
it. I get it.
And I mean, this kid is insanely talented. I mean, we went to the same high school. He graduated 15, 16 years after I did. But it's always Brooklyn or North Texas. That's home.
Yeah.
That's home, And it's people like that, had there been community in San Antonio, or had they been looked at as somebody serious, then having a name like that attached to San Antonio will immediately create some sort of cachet. Oh, wow, that person's from San Antonio. Well, what else is going on there? Like, who else is doing something there? Is it similar? Is it different? What's happening? And there are a couple of places on Fredericksburg that I think are doing a great job of helping with community, to build community. And they're also using outside sources from Chicago. I think that's where the label's from. A really great record label. I'll say the Numero Records. It's kind of a reissue label. They have a heavy investment in old San Antonio Latino funk and soul from the 60s. Like, they're reissuing all these great compilations, as well as like classic records from Bedhead and Codeine and stuff. Like, just a great... I've got a bunch of Numero releases upstairs in my record collection just because they get it. There's a couple places on Fredericksburg that are doing a really great job creating community. I would like to hear more about them, from other people in the scene. And I don't get out as much just because I've got a family and everything, so maybe they are getting more love. But they're doing cool things. But they also are utilizing contacts and other people from beyond San Antonio. These people aren't from San Antonio, but they're from beyond San Antonio. And I think that helps create a little bit of buzz too. If you need outside sources to create buzz locally, then use them. Don't be like, we don't need anybody from outside.
I got you.
Scrap your hubris.
I'm gonna interrupt this stuff.
No, it's cool.
I gotta use the bathroom.
Oh, go for it.
I just like the record in 4K and then you comp it to 1080. It just looks better.
Yeah,
just right off the bat from
right.
doing that.
Yeah, it's the same thing as like, when I master
in 128 or 96, right?
Yeah, when I master it 96, 24-bit, just because it feels like it's the cleanest, most stable, even more so than 192. We're using 32 floating, and then I'll dither down from that. But I always have the raw masters always at 96, 24-bit, just in case. Also later on, archive purposes, if there's another format, or if it's going to go to a service that offers high definition, high res downloads like Lin Records or somebody like that, then I can, I have it 9624 or 4824 or whatever, something that's better than your CD Redbook standard, which is way out of date at this point.
I'll say one more thing about what we're talking about, and we're gonna keep moving forward. One of the group that we've been talking about, that one of the guys there, I don't think that's the group's mission, but definitely one of the guys there who's still an artist himself. That's always been like kind of his dream, of blow up one band from San Antonio so that it trickles down,
Yeah.
I don't know. I haven't really. I get it, and I get why that would be good, but I'm just like, like. I think for everyone, to root for that, I think is just kind of
right.
Yeah,
you want to give if they're. I don't want to give them too much time.
Yeah.
Because like I said when I
no, but even you were saying it too, that the artists don't, that would help too. But I just think to just keep rooting for it,
right?
Just think like, or that shouldn't even be our goal. Like if it happens, cool. But there should be a different goal versus like we just need to blow, because that just seems like a Hail Mary, like
right.
We need to create our own, this Drake, whatever, something big, so that it trickles down and now people care about us.
That should just happen organically.
Yeah.
But it's like I said, when I initially reached out to them, I didn't say this earlier. I think we talked about it off the record. when I initially reached out to them, I asked them, can you please tell me more about what you want to achieve and how you plan on doing that? And this isn't verbatim, but it was to that was my line of questioning. What is your plan? How do how are you going to initiate this? What kind of steps are you going to take? And the response was, well, you need to know more about our leader. That's totally not what I asked. And that sounds like a cult.
Yeah.
Sorry.
I mean, I'm not around it recently, but like, it just felt just like a lot of the scene felt like, okay, let's be part of the clique. Let's be part of the cool kids.
Yeah.
And it's like, that's cool if we were actually cool, but like, or successful or something, but it's just like, I think me being an outsider and maybe not being with them initially, I feel like my main incentive when I'm around those things is so I can quote unquote make it or better my thing. And it's like, it never does. It never, like I never get better or it never helps me, or I don't even know if anyone's getting help, but like, themselves or their friends or whatever. So it's just like, I'm gonna just do me and like, now I'm happy.
Right.
I'll just do it my stuff.
Well, we certainly have to find happiness in ourselves before we're going to do anything else.
Yeah.
Again, I hope they do something. I hope something great happens with that. I really do. But, again, I left her in 91 and it's been the same thing over and over and over,
So let me see if I get some origin story from you. How'd you even get into music?
Oh man, I just have been a music lover my whole life. That was my first love. I know what my first record was. My first record was a 45 of the Bay City Rollers, Saturday Night.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, and I had to have been maybe 3 years old when I got that, and then the second record in my life that I really remember loving was A Farewell to Kings by Rush. and that was when I was 5, and I know that sounds weird, and I'm my cousin Melissa gave it to me, and she eventually went to Berkeley in Boston and studied trumpet. But when I was a baby or a toddler, she would do pitch games with me. She would sing a pitch and see if I could sing it back, and so anyhow, she got me kind of moving down that path towards music, and she gave me my copy of A Farewell to Kings by Rush when I was about 5 years old. Everything before then had been basically Rollers, lots of Beach Boys, the Beatles with my mom, and of course all that is still in my life today. But I just remember looking at the cover of that record with the weird, it's like a marionette in a chair in this city that looks like it was decimated by something. It's like this dystopian,
back when
thing.
Artwork mattered.
Yeah. 12 by 12 inches of awesome, artwork. And then listening to music, you have these long songs. They weren't the standard 3.5 second, 3.5 minute, pop songs, with all these different movements and all these great dynamics and everything. And I, of course, when I'm 5, I could not articulate. I just was intrigued by it. Yeah. And it was around that time, 4 or 5 years old, that I started playing piano. I would hear something on the radio, and if there wasn't a radio nearby, I would keep it in my head and go and pick it out on the piano. And that's basically it. Just young kid, loved music, and I loved Star Wars. Didn't give a shit about sports. Didn't care about anything else. Probably until I was about 10 or 11, and then I started really noticing girls.
There you go. And then you had the trifecta.
Music, Star Wars, girls. My Commodore 64. I loved my Commodore 64. Man, I love that computer.
Damn, Seabold mentioned that in his interview too, but it was so far away ago, I don't remember why.
Man, yeah.
I think he was maybe making stuff on there, like even like back then to teach, I think.
Probably.
Like, yeah, I think he was programming for it. Yeah,
Yeah,
like,
I
yeah,
mean, there were MIDI applications for the Commodore 64.
yeah.
And then, of course, the infamous SID chip, which has now been emulated and dropped into, synthesizer modules. And I mean, me and my friends, when we were kids, we were getting onto bulletin boards when we were like 9, 10 years old when we had our Commodore 64s. We were little dudes in elementary school, going into middle school, getting on to the early days of the internet. Yeah, the one bulletin board I can remember was Atlantic City, and we dial up on our old modems, and it was just
So
text.
you're in Atlantic City?
No.
Okay.
No, I grew up here in San Antonio. Which, by the way,
So
going
then
back to the where are you from? I tell people when they where's home? San Francisco.
See, you're part of the problem that you just said.
But you know what?
I say the same shit, yo, Bronx. So let me say, what am I talking about?
San Francisco and Austin is where things happened. That's where things happened.
Yeah,
and
yeah.
a lot of how I identify with who I am. Unfortunately, it has to do with my professional aspect of my life, and the music became not just a way of life, but a means to survive in Austin and in California. Never here.
I feel like
Never here.
yeah, I don't have no great success in anything here, maybe, but I think what this place gave me was perspective, and that for better, a lot of, first of all, I moved when I'm 18, so I don't know shit about the world, but a lot of people are always like, man, how you leave New York, like blah blah blah, but I didn't know what New York was
Right.
until I got here,
Exactly. Exactly.
Because had I known the power of New York, man, and I see what have happened over time, like, dude, like, if I knew what was going on in New York truly and, like, what power... There's a place called Chinatown Fair, and my whole life could have been different. We probably wouldn't even be talking right now because I'm over here be making a living playing Street Fighter right now. You know what I mean?
Right.
I didn't know the best players were there because the internet really wasn't strong back then, you know what I mean?
Right.
And, games had a different vibe. So my mom's not exactly... She's trying to put me in basketball and karate, but she's not looking for, like, where's the #1 arcade for my son to hang out at? Like, me and her actually have this argument a lot,
Yeah.
Because, parents want their kids to get into shit, but back at that point, games is stupid, it's a waste of time. But yeah, I didn't know, like, and let alone, like, had I been a musician, same thing. Like, I didn't know New York had all this stuff,
Oh, man.
Well, I was just a kid, just wanted to hang out at the bodega, but I get here, and it's not here, but positives that came from being here was like, I don't have to be mad all the time, like,
Right.
I can talk to people now, I had to learn that shit.
Yeah. Oh yeah, no, shit, man, I fight that every day. No, I totally understand that.
Yeah, so I'm still grateful. Yeah, he gave me that, and I think even all that negative stuff that happened here, I feel like it's probably gonna help create what I'm probably yet to become. You know what I mean?
Yes, absolutely.
So, yeah, I think
it should.
It's all fun. Like
I agree.
Yeah,
I agree. Yeah. So
when you messing
music,
on when you messing on the piano though, when do you get to like these drums though?
Oh yeah, I know who the kid was. That sat me down on my first drum set. His name was Jacob Gomez. I was in 4th grade at Ridgeview Elementary on McCullough, just right down the street from North Star Mall. And he had a drum set, and I was already, tapping everything out all the time. And he said, "Yeah, why don't you come over? I got a drum set, I'll show you Simple Beat." So we went over there and learned 4 on the floor, that day. And just continued, bashing around on things until I finally got a proper drum set. And then my poor mother and grandmother had to listen to me practice all the time. I'm not a great drummer. I just love playing. And
that could maybe make you a form of a great drummer, because maybe you're not Neil. How you say his name? Pert or Peart?
Neil Peart.
Okay, I won't be that dude. But. Yeah, maybe not him in technicality, but sometimes, especially when it comes to live, like that showsmanship or that energy, it can translate.
I've always had fun playing. And
that
you know, I've been very fortunate to play with some really great people and play on some great stages and do some really wonderful things and not so wonderful things um, on some cool record labels, you know, all of which never would have happened had I stayed here.
Yeah.
They just wouldn't. They wouldn't have happened, you know, and so, you know, feel very, very fortunate to have done those things. And oh man, God, how do I miss it? But I'm not going to go and play a venue that has 3 microphones and shitty PA. I did that when I was a kid. I'm not going to do it anymore.
That's what I'm saying. Like, look, I ain't famous or nothing, but damn, I keep talking about that shit. But it was just like I said, it was just like going forward and then just coming back again.
Yeah.
And yeah, you know what? When I went to San Marcos, our final show in San Marcos on St. Patty's Day, you know what they had? They had mics. Just saying, just saying. They had enough mics, you know?
Yeah.
Rolling there 6 people deep. And you know what? Everyone got a mic.
Yeah.
It's like Oprah, you know what I mean?
Right. Yeah, man. Yeah. No, totally.
Just saying.
Yeah.
Shout out to Kaiwa Bar.
Yeah, man.
But yo, you playing drums, and you know, I guess because we've been talking so much shit about all this other shit, I didn't even know we were gonna talk about. So I'm gonna fast forward the story. But you playing drums, I'm sure you play in bands and all that. But when does it get where you do like your first real thing, like a quote? I guess from our perspective, like something for a real label or real
like
anything.
like record just anything.
Yeah,
anything
like is
all?
it band first or is it you mixing first?
So
you know, like
yeah, like man, I was really really lucky that the first project that I kind of held the reins, it was me and another dude from Austin working with the band from Austin that actually got their start in San Antonio, but now they're an Austin band. They actually got their start somewhere else, moved to San Antonio, stayed here and got out. But he and I did the project together. And it took me a long time to listen to this project because I was green. Like, you know, I hadn't worn the hat of being the head engineer and or like get like a producer type of person.
Okay,
you know?
so at this point you're mixing?
I did the whole record.
Okay.
Me and this other guy. This other guy was the producer. I was billed as the co-producer and the engineer, and I mixed most of the record and mastered it too. To a great fault because I didn't know what the fuck I was doing. So it was mastered very low. It was mastered the amplitude is very low. The original, it got remixed and remastered 17 years later, which was great. I'm glad they did that. Learned a lot of lessons on that recording. But you know, the band had a really powerful presence, and again, I was incredibly lucky to be a part of this. And the record opened up a lot of doors for everybody involved, and was reviewed really favorably somehow from the New Musical Express in the UK, which that's how I found out about a lot of music when I was a kid. I would get the NME when it would come in to San Antonio, if it ever made it into San Antonio a month after the fact. I'd find out about bands like that. Anyhow, it got an 8 out of 10, you know, in the NME. And John Peel, who is one of my heroes, he's a big radio DJ for the BBC in the UK. Peel Sessions. I grew up listening to his recordings for his radio show. He eventually did a Peel Sessions with the band and loved the record. So that to me was like I'm good.
It's a full circle moment.
Nothing never needs to happen again.
Yeah,
I'm cool, you know. And this is literally the first thing that I did. And there were lots of negative reviews too. That, you know, it sounds like shit. I'm like, yeah, it does sound like shit for the most part. Like the energy and everything is there, and people will tell me all the time, like, that's my favorite record by that band. I'm like, okay, good, cool. You know, I like this record more, and I couldn't listen to it for a long time. But that was in '98. You know, so we're going on 20 years next year, you know, with that one. But then, you know, I've had, you know, many other projects that have been reviewed favorably, for, you know, and just about, God, all over the place now, you know. But the work, I mean, it really, I mean, the reviews are for the bands, you know. And certainly, you know, I have reviews all over my website, you know, so people can get an idea of, you know, what I have been a part of. But it all comes down to the band and what they're doing, because a lot of, you know, for those of us that consider ourselves engineers and whatnot, if you have decent ears and you understand how the equipment works, well, you know, all you need is a good band and you're in pretty good shape.
Yeah.
You know, recording a great performance is super easy, and it's going to show, you know, through any medium. And I think that's what happened with that record. We got some great performances from some young dudes that were on fire and they were ready to eat the world. And I think that's what happened. I don't think that's what I know that's what happened, you know, because the recording could be infinitely better. So I just got lucky, and I'm very thankful for that. But you know, I've also have done a lot of other work that's been reviewed favorably and not favorably. That sounds, you know, a whole lot better. And I think maybe it's because I've aged and have learned, hopefully, from my mistakes what I've done. But should I still, you know, I'll still do a record and listen to it and go,
well, I mean, that's the user experience.
That's not my best work.
But that's always going to be the user experience, I find, though. Like,
we are our own worst critics.
Yeah.
If we're not, then we don't care.
Yeah. But at the same time, I feel like, because I always preface this with, like, look, man, I ain't successful yet. You know, like, I'm not making it in any of my mediums, but I always tell people, like, they let that shit stop them sometimes, you know what I mean? So it either never gets released, you're forever making the perfect mix, you're forever making the perfect song, whatever it may be. But I'm like, dude, you gotta put it out there, learn, put it out there. Because, I mean, I'll hear some of this, and, like, I got some friends who hear all of them. And just the podcast, just keep it on there. And they're like, they all sound good. But I hear them, and I'm like, some of those first ones, I'm like, fuck, it's like I don't even, like, I never recorded before. You know what I mean?
Right, yeah.
And then sometimes, you know, like, I did good here, or sometimes I didn't, you know, because this is totally different than the music, in that there's not really a lot of mixing here because it's two people talking, but it's just how much time do I want to spend in really the audio restoration. That's really right. Because it's cleaning up, and a lot of the first ones sucked because RX is cool, but I wasn't you're not using that for music because you don't purposely record shit. You know, like, so I don't have to clean up anybody's guitar or my voice or anything. You know what I mean?
Right.
But with this, I'm like, I'm doing now with dogs and stuff, where I'm doing it. Like, I'm not. I mean, I can't get rid of. Well, I could, but I'm not going to. That's just way too much effort.
That's just life out there.
That's fine. Dogs is fine, but I mean, like, sometimes it's AC or something, you know. Right. So it's like, yeah, maybe I should get rid of that hum or something. Right. I just did an 18-wheeler podcast, yo. I just did it on a CDL 18-wheeler truck, and that shit was on the entire time. Yeah, because it's hot in there. But I'm like, we'll see what we can do, you know. Right. But you know what? Like, I could see overall, I'm not blind enough that when I take off 40 or 50 or however many of these I have together, like, oh, progress, you know? Because I did a lot instead of, like, I'm going to get episode 1 perfect. You know?
Right.
Like, you know, like, do it, learn. Sometimes it's up and downs, like a roller coaster. Yeah. Because I feel that for some of my songs, too, man. There's some songs where, like, I'll hear the out of breath that I gave you. I'm like, I'm amazing. And then I hear some shit I did right after, like, what the fuck? What just happened? You know, like, I'm like,
we get inspired for whatever. Yeah, you know, and we go with it. And, you know, sometimes we look back and we go, that's okay. Yeah. I can do better. There's a great quote from Ira Glass from
NPR.
You know, where he talks about what it means to be an artist, you know, and
they had a good video for it and everything,
like, we know, like, it's in there, but we suck. Like it's just not good, and we realize that. But you don't.
The taste. It's about taste.
You
He's
don't
talking
quit.
about taste.
You keep on going until you find that groove, you know,
Yeah.
and then you run with it. And I think that there are a lot of people that don't. I don't think I know that there are a lot of people that don't have that at all. Oh man, jeez, we would get submissions for the record label in San Francisco for 3-Ring.
Yeah.
And I would put the stuff on, and I mean, objectively, I'm like, there's nothing good about this, you know. And then there would be like, you know, the band photo, and they're all posing, and I'm looking at the whole thing, going, you guys, gals, you know, you don't get it at all, you know. And I feel so bad when you know, when I would think that way, but it would just be like, just garbage. And some people don't have that ability. They just think that they're rad. I'm just a rad person. I'm going to create stuff and people are going to love it. No. But some of us do know. Like,
Yeah.
you know, whatever taste is, and that's, you know, that's subjective. But
I mean, shit. I think of myself both sometimes. Like, yo, what the fuck am I doing? Like, why I do any of this? Sometimes, you know, like, because I'm like, what am I even doing any of this for? You know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
but I just know, like, I like making shit. I need to make shit. I don't know why I need to make shit. If I don't make shit, I do some dumb shit to myself.
Yeah,
you know?
that's it right there.
Yeah.
Start to go crazy.
Yeah. So I'm like, I better keep making this shit, and I'm not angry I'm making it either. I like making it, but I'm saying, like, some, you know, for people looking for the more traditional results, like money or whatever, or like adoration, admiration or whatever. I'm like, yeah, it hasn't come yet. I don't know if it ever will, but I mean, like,
Right.
That's not even why I do it, you know? It'd
Yeah.
be nice, because then that'd be like sustainability via those meetings. But
Right. Yeah, man, we do it because we have to.
yeah, it's a fucking poison. I would love to stop. You know? like, I can't though.
A lot of heartbreak, and there's a lot of you know, there's a lot of benchmarks. There's a lot of triumphs.
Yeah, I mean,
that happen too. You know, I just finished the coolest project from this group in Germany, and
my cousin just started moving. He's just moving there today,
to
literally
Berlin?
to Germany.
To where, Berlin?
It might be.
Yeah.
It's a government job, so I can't remember. But yeah,
good for him, man. What a place to be in.
he's a bigger fan of Italy though. But he's like, I'll take it. He'll take it.
It's a cool project, man. It's like you know, it's shoegazer, post-punk type stuff that I got from another client.
Yeah.
They pointed this group to me and listened to the music and was just like, yes, awesome. This is going to be so much fun. I'm so excited about this because the songs are cool, you know, and it's a really cool label that actually one of my heroes is on, which really got me excited. You know, a band that I used to listen to called the Boo Radleys. One of the dudes from that band is on this label. I'm like, oh yeah, awesome. But just cool music, you know? And then I'm doing it and I'm feeling guilty. Like, I'm getting paid for this. This is crazy. I would sit here and do this for nothing because it sounds so rad, you know? That's the good stuff. I like that, man. I get a lot of stuff like that from Europe. Where just, you know.
Yeah, no, because I've seen you
crazy.
throughout the years and you get that same excitement. Yeah.
Yeah, it's fun, man. I did a project with this dude from Sweden, and the music could best be described as Vangelis and the Boards of Canada had an orgy and made this weird electronic music baby. You know, it sounds like soundtrack music. Gosh, what does he call himself? He has a strange name.
It's not. Did you share it on?
No, it hasn't been
okay.
released yet because I think a label's going to pick it up.
Because there was another electronic artist from one of those countries that you did share. I remember hearing it. I feel like it had monkey in either the title or name.
No, Necromonkey?
Yeah.
Yeah, they're from Sweden.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's why I was thinking them. Yeah.
Yeah, they're great. That's such a Matthias. So me and Matthias go way, way back to Austin. He lives he's in Stockholm, or just outside of Stockholm, his studio.
Yeah.
And he's really well known in the music world, first and foremost as a drummer. He's a very gifted drummer, and his first band was on Polar Records, which is the ABBA's record label, and I think they won like the equivalent of a Swedish Grammy for that record. It did really, really well. But he's played in all these different prog bands, Anglagard and White Willow recently, and Necromonkey is, for all intents and purposes, it's a prog band.
Yeah.
But they did this in the what's the EP called? In the Shadow of the Blind Man, or something like that. It was 3 or 4 songs, and Matthias had actually asked me to remix something at one point, and he's like, "Yeah, I'm just gonna send you the files, and you do what you want." I'm like, "Okay, cool," And so I sent it to him, and he was like, "Yeah, this is different. I like what you did here, and blah blah blah. Maybe you change this," and then he just puts it out. On that EP, which I mastered, but it's primarily electronic. That EP is not typical Necromonkey. Oh, I know. You're talking about Show Me Where It Hurts, where it's all electronic versions of Necromonkey songs. Anyhow,
that
dude,
it was electronic though, yeah.
That dude is a nut.
But they were drawn out,
Yeah.
So there's stuff going on, yeah.
Yeah, that would be the Show Me Where It Hurts, which it's all reworked electronic versions of songs from their other albums. And then he also does his own electronic project called Molson, which I mastered. But that guy, he has one of the biggest keyboard collections in the world. And he's known for his mechanical keyboards. He has a bunch of Mellotrons, which, talking about community, keeping good friends in certain places, maintaining and nourishing your community is beneficial, because Matthias had reached out to me. He had a Mellotron here in the States, in New York. And he'd asked me, the Mellotron? You know what a Mellotron is? A real Mellotron, not a fake, real. He has like 5 or 6.
Yeah, not the plug-in.
He's like, hey, can you go to New York and pick up my Mellotron and bring it back down to your home? And it can just live with you. And I'm like, shit, yeah. No. Like, yes. And then I'm like, a 5,000-mile trip for a Mellotron. Like, I really, do I want a Mellotron? Absolutely. Yeah. But I have a good friend in New York that has a studio. And so I called him up, and I'm like, hey, dude, I might have a Mellotron for you.
Oh, you did the Spike Lee?
Really? I'm like, yeah. I think so. You need to contact my friend Matthias, or I'll make the introduction. And now my buddy has a Mellotron in his studio in Brooklyn. And hopefully I'll get up there to hang out with him and the Mellotron at some point. we'll see. As
long as the Mellotrons will.
We'll see. Well, another friend of mine had just asked me if I could go up to New York this Christmas to record a record.
Oh, nice.
At a different studio, and I said right now it's not the best time, but I'll mix it for you, and so I'm going to mix it. And it's funny because the studio that he's going to work at, I think I've mixed 3 or 4 records from that studio at this point. So there's a lesson for you, people. Community extends far beyond these boundaries. And man, yeah, karma, definitely. That's like the one thing I do believe in. But my mouth has also written a lot of checks that it hasn't been able to cash. And that's a fault of mine too. If somebody pisses me off, it's like, yeah, fuck you. And that has bitten me on the ass so many times. But I'll bend over backwards for my friends, especially when it comes to, helping with music and whatnot. I'll go way out of my way because I want to see people succeed. I think a lot of people inherently don't have that in them. I think that other people
not
don't.
Natural.
Yeah, I don't think that a lot of people they don't get pleasure in seeing other people succeed. I think they get more like, it's more.
And it's weird because I'll sense it too sometimes in me. Like, I'm not rooting for people, but it's definitely not the natural feeling. I've heard it equated recently to, I don't know if this is true, but this is the metaphor. if you put one lobster in a
A pot.
bucket,
Right.
yeah, like he'll get out. But if you put all of them, they pull them back down,
Right.
and there's just a lot of that. That doesn't mean we're pulling them down, but they're not happy, like,
Right.
Like they just yeah, like just that guy I mentioned, like Richie Branson. I don't think no one's really angry or something, but I'm sure everybody's like, man, like, because he got to make it and we didn't,
Well, that's
so like,
that's what happens.
Yeah.
That's the path that some people get to go down.
yeah,
Man, these couple of I was mentioning these couple of dudes that I work with here in San Antonio that I've done a lot of projects with. One of them in particular, we have this discussion quite a bit about why things aren't happening here, and what will it take. And I last week I'd sent a message and I said, what's tying you down to San Antonio? Why don't you just leave, go somewhere else where there's a real rich community, and where you're gonna hopefully become a part of a scene and create relationships that are going to last forever and that are going to continue to bear fruitful, meaningful work and projects. And it's like I can't do it, family and this and that. And like, yeah, well, that's why I'm here, family obligations. Sometimes we get our own personal desires take a back seat for a little bit, and then we need to figure out how to work through that. That's fucking tough.
I think with me, it's probably just been a lot of like, I don't know, I'm trying to like word this correctly, but like maybe as quote unquote hungry as I might be, like maybe I'm just also fine, not with the not making it, but like maybe like with the rest, like or maybe just fear, who knows, like just comfort, because like I know this area already, I know everything. So maybe like for me, it's probably a lot of that, because I don't have a lot of the family now. As my mom gets older, I do wonder, like, man, 75 now,
Yeah.
But outside of that, I'm like, yeah, I don't know. It's just, man, I've just been a fucking bitch, like sometimes that's literally what I think, like sometimes like, damn, like why don't I just go somewhere, and make some shit happen, or try or fail somewhere else. You can fail there too.
Failure's good, man. Failure's
is
good. Criticism is good. It builds character. And, if people that want to be in the music industry, if they can't handle failure and criticism, they're in for a really long, rough road, and when you get criticized, you take it for what it is, unless the criticisms are just ugly, That's an ugly band. That has nothing to do with the art. In
pop culture, though. In pop.
And again, that more often than not, people in the city they're not ready to be criticized. They think they're doing it right. And that's that's lack of perspective.
Oh yeah, I don't know how far you got into Grant when Grant tells the Time Wheel story, how he got into it. I think he did his own Facebook post, and the guy was like, "Who the hell are you?" Grant was like, "Who the hell are you?" Because I guess he said something about Time Wheel or something, the label here, and it happened to be the owner of Time. But yeah, he was criticizing whatever. I don't remember the stories in there, but he was saying something, and yeah, that's when they come. They never come when you're trying to do something, and they only come when you're talking bad about them,
Well, if you're putting your stuff out there, then you need to be prepared to have people say things that you don't want to hear.
Yeah.
And if you're not prepared for that, then you need to find another career, which, I think the only career at that point is like telemarketing, because...
Oh, man.
Seriously, because, you're going to be criticized in whatever it is that you do in life, at least there's anonymity.
Yeah,
that comes with that. You're just a voice, that's attached to a
I had
headset
one phone
microphone.
job already. I'm done. Like, I can't
Yeah, Oh man, yeah. Again, reviews where I just read them, I'm like, oh, that sucks. That's not a good review. Yuck. People are buying this record. I hope they're not disappointed. But that's part of the deal.
Yeah.
You know? Then you just roll with it. You just roll with it.
This podcast has been all over the place. Like normally you were asking about formula. Like normally there's some type of trajectory, but we just been bouncing everywhere.
That's good.
I'm like, yeah, no, it's fine. It's fine.
Did you want to go somewhere else?
No. I just found it funny. I was like, man, I didn't know it was gonna go like this at all. Maybe it's two, maybe I don't know. But I want to ask one more question and we'll do the life ones. That way I don't take you forever. But no, so you mentioned the first project.
Yeah.
But like how did you make that transition into like, because I guess you're doing the drums before, right? Before you're mixing, or did you know you were always aiming to try to be a mix? Like what brings you to, I'm gonna be engineer, mixer, masterer, versus like you're a musician first?
Okay. Yeah. That's a great question. No, so I had been living up in Dallas. I was living in Louisville because my intention at that time was to go to North Texas.
Yeah.
And study music there, get a degree in performance. You know, it's funny. People always talk shit about these trade schools, but I discovered Full Sail in Florida. And I'm like, learn how to make records. I'm like, oh, what's this, you know, in the back of Rolling Stone? And then did some research. I'm like, oh, there's actually been some articles, you know, about this, the school's been covered to a great deal about the program. And at the time, it was just an associate program. I'm like, well, you know what? I don't know that I really need a performance degree. You know, what am I going to do with that, you know, besides end up touring and stuff like that? Yeah. I can still do that without a degree. Why not go and get an education in something that I know very little about? And that was production and engineering. I had a background in MIDI and synthesis already because I had been playing with samplers and synthesizers since I was a kid. I got my first sampling workstation, the Roland W30, when I was in high school. And that's what Liam Howlett from The Prodigy used almost exclusively on the first Prodigy record, The Prodigy Experience, which is... Man, that record still today, that's the best jungle album. Fuck, man. I hear that record and my mind just goes, I just want to flip out. It sounds so good. So I had a Roland W30, which was a sampling workstation. Sampled at 12 bits, played back at 16. So it had this cool, gritty feel to it. I think that's right. 12 and 16, 12 in, 16 out. So it was a sampler, but it was also a workstation, so it had a built-in sequencer. So I knew I had already given myself an education,
making the beats,
learning how to do that when I was, I think I was 17 when I got that, so that would have been in 1991. And then got a Roland Juno 60, you know, shortly after that, which was an analog synth. But was up in Dallas with the intention of going to North Texas, discovered Full Sail. Went out there, took the tour. They had a deal where you'd fly out there, pay for a tour. If you decide to go to school, it would go towards tuition, yada, yada, yada. And did that. Went to Full Sail.
I can't believe all this time I've known you, I never knew you went to Full Sail.
I did. I did. You know, and a lot of people, you know, frown upon, well, you know, I did the studio stuff, the School of Hard Knocks. I started as, you know, an engineer, or excuse me, a second or an assistant.
Climb the ladder, yeah.
Climb the ladder. But, you know, again, everybody has their own path.
Yeah.
And I wanted to have some kind of paper, even though it was just an associate. Now they offer, goddamn cold, the bachelor's in that. It's very expensive. You'll see a lot of guff online about, well, it's just a bullshit degree and blah, blah, blah. You know what? You're going to do whatever you do with it.
Yeah.
You know, any degree can be a bullshit degree. It's up to the person. You know, I don't care where you go to school. You can get a degree in law at UT and decide that you're not going to do that because you think it's bullshit or you don't have the drive. It's not UT's fault. It's not Full Sail's fault. It's your fucking fault, you know?
Yeah, I got one I don't use right now. Yeah.
But you probably will. It's going to come in handy. Your degree is going to come in far more handy than mine does, at least here in San Antonio and most other places.
Mine is finance. Yeah. So
Yeah, you can take that anywhere, which is great. That was very, very smart. I'm not saying that my choice wasn't smart. That's what I wanted to do,
Yeah,
you know?
yeah.
And I pursued that. And, you know, out of school, I landed an engineering position in a studio in Austin a month and a half after I was done with school. I got lucky. But I started calling people in Austin about 3 months before I graduated.
Okay.
You know, hey, I'm finishing this program. I would love to come and see your studio. You know, I was really proactive, sent out resumes, you know, mailed resumes to people. And this one guy bit. And, you know, I email him almost every year. Almost every year I email Mike and I say, thank you so much for letting me come in. And it was my birthday, the first day that I went into a studio.
Oh my gosh.
Thank you so much for letting me come into your studio to work with this guy. His name was David Ray. Let me come in there, because had you not had done that, there's a good chance that I would not have experienced and done everything that I've done today.
This whole
Almost
life.
every single year I email him and I thank him.
Damn, that's crazy.
Because he, I mean, I initiated everything, but he gave me that first.
Yeah.
Here you go. And that guy is the owner of Wonder Audio.
Okay.
Really high-end boutique microphones and consoles. He's a cool dude. And I owe him a lot. And I always let him know that. Like, it's important, you know?
No,
like,
for sure,
If you have mentors and people in your life that had, you know, a profound effect on who you are or how you developed as a professional, I think we need to remind those people, like, hey, you were awesome.
For sure. I like, for me, I always have like two teachers, and I said in the Seabold interview, I was like, I feel like you just ended up becoming more a friend. So like I'm still grateful for you, but I feel like we'll meet up every once in a while, or we'll talk and stuff.
Yeah.
And like for whatever reason, I don't do that with the others as much, you know?
Right.
But yeah, the other two, like, Seabold was the other, because he's the one who gave me my chance,
Yeah.
you know? Like, he let me be the lab monitor there, and that led me into Cindy, and like,
Yeah.
I liked my life for 5 years. You
Yeah.
know? Like,
I thank him too all the time. I'm going to see him tomorrow. I
Yeah.
love that man. He's great. And, you know, I think that he in many ways fought an uphill battle at UTSA too. You know,
yeah, I would
'cause he
hear him
was
tell the stories. Yeah.
Yeah, big champion for technology, and you know, in a program that wanted to be more of a conservatory type of program.
Yeah.
And I'm not faulting that at all. That's so important. But yeah, I'm just so glad that they, you know, the interim there is who it is now, because that guy, he's a good dude. He really is. And I was rooting for him, you know, before I left UTSA. Had he been in that position, it's a good chance that I would have stayed, you know. But yeah, man, saw a lot of really talented people come and go from that program really fast, and it was a bummer. Yeah. So yeah. Anyhow, remember people in your life. Let them know that you think about them.
Yeah, man. I'm gonna give you, and even you still take time to talk when I ask you questions. When I was doing all that publishing research and distribution stuff, because that shit's confusing, man.
It is. I still get confused by a lot of it. I'm like,
that's why I ended up just picking. At the end of the day, I just picked the company, because it was like, once I thought I understood it, then you were like, well, now you got to do all this. And I was like, well, then I don't make music. This is what I'm understanding.
Yeah. And that's important. Yeah.
Yeah. So I was like, I was grateful to even learn it, because most of the people I know here, they don't, not that I even know a lot, but I'm confident I know way more about distribution. Just the digital stuff. None of this real shit.
Sure.
But the digital stuff, like the CD Babies, DistroKids, any of that stuff, than anyone around here.
Yeah.
Like, without question.
Yeah.
Like, I know that. I teach Grant some stuff too, like every now and then, for what he's about to do at the label and stuff.
Right.
But
DistroKid's the way to go.
for what he wants to do, yeah. But man, like, I won't even keep talking, because then I'll just start talking about it forever. Yeah. But yeah. But I mean, I'm grateful I have that allowance. But it does take time, man, learning all that. Because I mean, all this time I wanted to make music, and I'm like, hi, but I can make music, but then I got nothing to do with it because I don't know where to put it or how to do it or whatever. So
Yeah.
I had to invest all this time. I'm grateful I know, and now I'm able to at least stop now. You know, like,
Commerce versus art.
yeah.
That's a big struggle, man. And it's important to know. And that's why, you know, I want to do this thing. And Imagine is to try to give people just a little bit of a, like, here's a little push, you know, just, I'm not saying you need to do these things, but these things could help you later on. And
Yeah,
here's the differences between X, Y, and Z, and here's why you want to do this. Here's why you wouldn't. Here's what could happen if you don't do it, you know? Because I don't know that they're getting it.
Sometimes I worry though,
Exclusive.
like, because I think I did it with myself. Like, you put so much time learning into it. Not only are you not doing music, but it's like, who are you? You know, like, for that to even come into effect, the right, you know, of your, because a lot of people, again, they don't put out their stuff because they're saving it, and I'm like, for who?
Yeah.
You know, like, who's going to steal it? Like, you don't matter yet. If you did matter, well, then people would be taking care of you.
Yeah.
So that you know,
Yeah.
it would. Like, I don't know, like, there's one guy, this guy, he's gonna play New York now. He's gonna play New York. He's been in the Valley all this time, and he's one of the people I was like, man, what is this guy doing? But because he like a lot of people, he wants to be saved by the label, and like, the further we get, the harder that is, that dream, you know. But I think a lot of people are waiting to be saved by the label, and they don't take no action. And this guy, he did get saved by the label, but he was also emailing 10,000 labels, you know,
Yeah.
and a lot of people aren't taking that step. Like, it was a mutual friend of ours who, normally I just say everybody's name, but just in the spirit of you, I won't say the name now. Like, he has one track on SoundCloud, 48 private. And I'm like, that's cool, but where are they going? They're going to me. I mean, technically I'm a label, but I'm not gonna give you no money. You know what I mean?
Right,
like, so, like, and there's just a lot of that. So I just don't know. Sometimes people are overprotective of their shit when it's like, you don't matter, dude. Like,
Yeah.
you know, like, put it out there, you know?
Well,
like,
and if they really feel that way about their stuff, then they're going to educate themselves to find out how to protect their stuff so they can get it out there. And it can,
Or-
you know,
send it to labels too. like if you really want to be saved, then put that into action then. Because they're not looking for you. You know what I mean? Like,
but no, they're not.
yeah.
And we're also in the era, and we have been, you know, for a very long time now. We don't need labels anymore.
Yeah.
You know, we really don't. And, you know, I think it's Radiohead, and they proved that beautifully in Rainbows. And it's also
yeah.
fucking Radiohead. And I get that. It's Radiohead. I'm like, I get that, but I'm trying to prove a point. And they eventually went back to a label to capitalize off of the label's mechanisms, you know, distribution, physical, and of course PR, and, you know, licensing placements and things like that. But we all have the ability to do that today, and if you learn how to navigate the internet properly and how to utilize search engine marketing and things like that, SEO and all that stuff, you can make all these things happen on your own. With, you know, it's going to take some effort,
Yeah.
but it can all happen. But then, yeah. Do I create the music, or do I promote, or do I promote, or am I doing both, or do I hire a manager that knows how to do all this stuff? That's their specialty.
Somebody
It's
I'm
music marketing.
supposed to interview tomorrow has a manager, and I'm like, I want to try to get as deep as I can, but when we're at our level, I'm always wondering, like, what is the manager doing? You know what I mean? Because, like, they're not making a living off of it yet, but maybe they're on the path because they do got a little hot buzz.
Right.
But I've met some people. I met just a month ago. I was like, hey, I was gonna do a video for Sam, those little boiler room style videos I do. But I knew everybody on the bill, so I was gonna do one for everybody except for one guy. And I was like, Sam, like, who's this one guy? Maybe I'll just do one for him too. And he was cool about it, but he had a manager too. And I'm like, I'm like, I don't know. Like we all wanted a manager like growing up, but I was just like, but then why are you here? I'm always wondering, you know. But maybe he's on a path too. That I don't know. Because as an artist, I don't know him. But I'm like, booked you at a nothing land. Like, you know, Sam booked it by himself. You know, like, so I'm always confused about some of those the managers at our level. Like, when I say our level, I mean us, because we ain't there yet. You know what I mean?
Well,
I mean,
who is the manager? Is it somebody just saying, "Hey, yo, I'm a manager"?
well, yeah,
I'm
because it
gonna
looks
manage
like
you."
another one of us. That's what I'm saying. Like,
are they an actual manager that has a track record that, you know, they have connections, you know, they know people at labels, they know people at booking agencies, at talent agencies, they know people in publishing. Like, that's what a manager, that's what they do.
yeah.
You know, they have those connections.
I mean, in these
And-
two scenarios, they may or may not, but they just look
They're
like the
just saying,
same age as the
"Oh,
artist, so
manager."
it just looks like a friend. You know what
And
I
I'm
mean?
gonna walk around and be like, "Yeah, I'm gonna get you gigs, and I'm gonna be
Yeah.
your manager." It's like,
So that's
And the-
why I'm confused. But who
Yeah.
knows? They might have all those connections you're saying, and they're just young.
Right.
Maybe they might. They might.
I think that's that's where everything is going to go eventually. You know, I mean, there are many indie labels that are doing really, really well, that have really great visions. Those visions have survived. They have transformed. You know, I think Warp is the greatest record label in the whole world. And, you know, you think where they came from with LFO, and it was just like acid house, you know. Oh man, those early LFO tracks and Autechre, that stuff is so killer, man. But then, you know, they progressed and became a true indie with, you know, you've got quasi jazz stuff, you've got pop, you know, Maximo Park and all this
They have
other
a
stuff.
lot of stuff now. Yeah.
But I think what's going to happen eventually is the whole label system will probably dissolve, and these people, the last remnants of these labels, you know, the last vestiges, these people will become consultants and managers. That's what they do. They curate talent, right? They have a pool of people that they work with, you know, 4 or 5 musicians, and they utilize all the resources that they have acquired throughout the years to help these musicians generate revenue with their intellectual property. Because we look at we only have 3 major labels now, and in 1999, which was the absolute peak of the music industry, there were 5 or 6 major players at that point. Was it 5 or 6? I can't remember, but they have all cannibalized. They've absorbed each other. They've sued each other. They've sued their artists. They've sued publishers. They've sued streamers. The streamers have made all this shit that was bad to begin with, you know, way back when the major labels existed and they, you know, ruled the roost. Those things are happening again, you know, with the back end deals and stuff. And that shit is not going to survive. Major labels are going to be gone. They're not going to, you know, they're going to hemorrhage too much money, and the artists are going to realize more and more, I can do this on my own.
I mean, lately I've been seeing in hip hop, like I ended up following him more for the story. I'm just now finally liking some of the songs. Not that he's bad, but I mean, like, his story was really good, assuming it's all true. Because some of them stories too, you know, I don't be knowing whether to believe them or not.
Yeah.
But there's a guy called Russ. You heard of this guy yet? RUSS. Tell his story super quick. You know, he released, let's say like 50 to 100, depending on what day he's telling the story, songs. But he did a track a week.
Okay.
And he's like, dude, all these tracks sucked. Not that they musically sucked, but they got no plays. But whatever, when he finally hit that track, it worked. And because he had 8,000 things already there, now it trickled down.
Yeah.
So he was getting banked. Because before he did SoundCloud, he actually had 11 albums. But he was like, this ain't working.
Yeah.
I got to change something. But he did notice, he looked at the data. Track 1 gets a lot of plays, and then it goes not so much, you know?
Yeah.
So he was like, you know what? If I just do every album at one song, then all my things will get plays. So that's where he even started with that.
Right.
But once he blows up last June, because he's still fairly new, once he blows up last June, he's selling out. Like, he's selling out a lot of these places for, at the time, 2,000, depending on what country, 11,000. You know
Yeah.
what I mean? Like, by himself. So he told every label no, because he's like, what do I need you for? I got 11 albums and like 50 plus songs on SoundCloud. Like, I'm getting something, and my shows that I'm doing.
Right.
But he finally won with Columbia, but his deal's 50-50, you know? Like,
Yeah. After recoups.
yeah, after the advance, yeah.
50,
But,
wait, 50-50 with Columbia?
Yeah, yeah.
50, so 50 of the net? With a
Yeah,
major?
yeah.
Wow.
And that's not the first. That is what I'm saying. So he has 50-50, and it's just his album. So 20 songs. And the way he chose those 20 songs, he's like, SoundCloud's amazing because it tells you the plays. He's like, he just chose the 20 most popular songs.
Yeah.
They'll always, it's like, why would I choose failing structure? You know, like the data's right there. You
Yeah,
know?
yeah.
So that album just won, I think, platinum finally.
Wow.
But yeah, so that's his. But they only own that. He still owns the rest of his catalog. He was using TuneCore already by himself, so he's still fine even without them. But he said he wanted to do major finally because they can do things he can't, like you were saying,
They have
PR. Now, Russ used to be a guy that when I talked to people last year, I would tell them this story and they're like, "Who?" But I'm like, "Who cares if you don't know him? Like, it's just that's just a good independent story. You know what I mean? That we can learn from." But now that he's on Columbia, now people know who he is because now he's on Hot 97. Now he's on Complex Magazine. Now he's on your local hip hop station eventually. You know what I mean? And he's like, yeah, I wasn't doing that by myself. You know what I mean? I did it by myself, but I wasn't doing that because he has ambitions to be, you know, wannabe Drake and all that stuff.
Sure.
But, and there's another girl who don't even know her story or music, but SZA, SZA.
Okay.
And Apple has these podcasts that I don't hear because I don't have any of their stuff, but I think it's one of the Pharrell ones. And Pharrell has, I guess, a good series that they'll put clips on every now and then. But one of these industry people, like Who Matter, was on there. I don't know if it was Iveen because I think he runs it, but it might not have been him. But someone
runs everything.
But yeah, someone blurted out like her deal. And if I'm recalling, I could be wrong, but it was even better than Russ's. I swear it was 70-30 with her label.
Man.
And it's because these people were big enough without them that they're just clinging. They're just trying to get whatever they can recoup, you know? Because they're doing it without them.
Well, they're signing 360 deals too. I can only imagine.
Maybe. I don't know. I don't know it like that. You know, I just know this is what the story they're selling me. You know?
Yeah, I pay such little attention to the major world. I've never been. I mean, of course, I have lots of major records, you know.
Yeah.
But I've always just been more attracted to the indies. You know, even when I was a kid, you know, I had this huge love for factory records, and I still do, and my friends know me for it. And it's where Joy Division and New Order and those bands came from. You know, the Manchester scene, A Certain Ratio, and major labels for the most part. You know, just never.
I mean, I was like that for hip hop in my teenage years, like Raucous and the whole 12-inch.
Right.
But I mean, like once vinyl kind of died for hip hop, like around that era, I mean, because like a lot of underground music was on vinyl at that point for whatever reason, you know, like I don't know why, but it was. But once that kind of
the true music fans,
maybe I didn't have decks. I had a mixer, Newmark, but we never could afford actual decks.
Vinyl never went away. People like vinyl came back. I'm like, it never went away. It just.
Well, I just mean for that hip hop to be an area.
Yeah, of course.
You know,
because that's how that's that culture.
Yeah, yeah.
You know? 2 turntables.
Yeah, man.
Or if you're DJs, you go 4 turntables.
But let me take you down these life questions. That way we'll get you out of here. First one is the question I ask everybody. I probably asked you this already, maybe a year ago or so. What's your goal in life?
Oh, just to be happy.
How do you go about doing that?
If I fucking knew. You know, I don't know, man. It's so elusive to me because I let things get the best of me, unfortunately, and it's something that I struggle with all the time. And I think that's a big part of it. You know, being mindful. This is all Buddhist. Being mindful, living in the present, and just knowing that you are powerless to other people. You know, don't let other things get you down. Don't let things affect you that you have no control over. And that's always been a problem for me. You know, like, yeah. So yeah, being happy, man. I think that should be everybody's. Because we're fucking nothing. We are. You know, I mean, we're this. We're not even that. You know, squeeze your fingers as tight as you can. And we're not even that in
smaller
the
than
scope
the
of the universe.
Yeah.
You know, when I die, it's just energy getting returned back to the universe. That's, you know, so just to be happy, you know, be happy. Boo.
Who do you have compassion for, or who or what or what? Yeah, who?
Oddly enough, humanity as a whole.
Mm.
As much as I know, man, and my girlfriend, my poor girlfriend, my partner, she's like 5,000% better than I will ever be. She tells me all the time. She goes, "You're sweet." I'm like, "No, I'm not." She's like, "No, you're sweet." She goes, "It's in what you do, not in what you say." So then I kind of had to like think about where's she getting this from, you know? And yeah, I do have compassion for humanity, but you know, we're also our own obviously greatest enemy.
Yeah.
It's so cliche, but if I didn't have compassion for humanity, I wouldn't fucking be here right now, for one. I wouldn't answer your questions. I wouldn't care about seeing people in my life succeed. That's very important to me. I like it when people succeed.
Mm.
I have compassion for people, even though it probably seems like I have none. And I get that too.
I mean, even though it's silly, like
Fuck you. You fucking windbag shit fucking turd. You're not even human. That's one person that I don't give a shit about. Fuck him.
Can I cut this part
Sorry.
as the Instagram?
Yeah. Right? Have zero compassion for that fucking windbag, dickless, orange piece of shit. Bloviator. Fucking, that person just, he's the absolute worst in humanity. He's just a bag of shit. He's like a bag of infected shit and fucking crusty dicks.
Oh, man.
Yeah. Yeah, use that, man. Fuck that guy. I don't care if
That's
this gets
gonna
me
be the problem. Hey, you got your blessing, so
Yeah.
I'll totally use it. I don't even remember what I was gonna say, but I mean,
compassion.
it's something about the something about succeeding, but I don't even. I learned that, and this is hard because this is kind of like third person thinking you have to do, but you talking about you like seeing other people succeed. I learned that from the fighting game community, the video games, like
Yeah.
because back in the old days, you save your tech because you want to win, right? But now it's the YouTube era, and people still hide and stuff. But I noticed from some of the people who are already at top, like someone like a Daigo, certain times you might save it, but at the end of the day, you just show everything, and you teach those who can't do it. You teach them everything.
Yeah.
Because now you can't trick them, but what it forces you is, well, now you got to come up with something else. So it makes you better in the long run. You
Right.
know? But most people are not thinking of the long run of being better. They just want to be where you're at, you know, like, because right now I'm better, and that's good enough, you know? Like,
Right. Yeah. There's a lot of that in the audio community. You know, you have people that go online and, well, this is how I did X, Y, and Z. And
some people save their tech there too. I see them on the floor.
yeah. Well, yeah. There's some people that are like, well, I'm not going to let you know how I did that. I'm like, what? You're not fucking curing cancer. You know, how'd you get that sound? You know. Yeah. Yeah, man. Compassion for. We certainly need it now. You know, we need more of that.
Mm.
We need more of that in the world right now, man. That's for sure. Jeez, man. God.
But
Bleep his name out. I shouldn't have said his name. I never ever say his name in posts. I never refer to him.
so you still want the thing, but just bleep his name.
I think people will know because I don't want to. His name doesn't need to be said anymore. It's not worth it because that's what he wants ultimately. Because he's such a narcissistic fuck.
Do you still want the part in, or?
Oh, absolutely.
Okay.
Leave it in. Just bleep out his name.
Okay.
And you know, because he's not a leader, and he's not my leader, and his name doesn't need to be said.
Okay.
People will know. If they don't know, well then they're on board with him for some reason, which makes me really sad. It makes me profoundly sad. It really does. If I think about it too much, I'll cry.
Yeah, no, I hear the voice changing and everything right now.
Oh man, I cried the day after that happened, after he got elected.
Oh wow. I
was in tears the whole. Like I would just be working and that happened. I can't believe that people. Yeah, it's too much, man. Can't deal with it.
It was weird because Dave Chappelle had this skit on SNL, right? You seen that?
It was so good and eloquent, and he was so poised, and yeah.
No, but the skit I'm talking in particular is when everybody thought Hillary's automatic win, and I don't know. So maybe it's because I come from the hip hop culture too, but I kind of like related more to that. Like, you know, we ain't want it to happen, but it was real. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So like when I see all the shock and stuff, like on I remember that day, like on Facebook, everybody's going insane and stuff. It was just like, you know, not that I don't want to say you've seen it before, but you know, you've seen forms of that, you know, before, you know. So it was just like we didn't want it to happen, but I mean, like a lot of people didn't even like think that was a possibility.
Oh no,
you know what I mean?
I wasn't in that camp. I wasn't shocked at all. I was disappointed.
Yeah.
And profoundly hurt and saddened by it.
Yeah.
Because I knew that it was a very real possibility. Every time when somebody would say, "Can you believe what he said?" I'm like, "Really? Like you can't believe that he said that? Are you?" Yes, I can believe that he said that because he's a horrible person.
I think I did say I can't believe it when the whole Nazi thing was happening. I was like, really?
Oh no.
That part, because a lot of the stuff maybe before, whether it's good or right, like I mean, I feel like I'm used to that just because they're trying to win whatever, you know, whatever they're trying to win. But that I was like, really? Like I don't even know what you're trying to win there. You know, like I don't know.
There was a whole war that we fought
to
stamp that out. There are not good people on... No.
I was like...
What is wrong? So anyhow, that's why we don't need to waste any more energy on that, guys. Or say his name. Because it's not worth it. He's sick. He needs help. You know what? I do have compassion for him because he's fucking mentally ill and he needs help.
All right. I'll hit you with the next one then so we can move on.
Sorry.
It's all good, man. The real reactions, man. 3 things you're thankful for in your life.
Oh, man, my kids.
Yeah.
Obviously. And Dory, my girlfriend. And, gosh, number 3 could be any number of things. But, yeah, kids and Dory. Well, my mom. I don't even know how to think about that. My mom. I mean, she put up with so much shit, and she has always been right there. She still does. I'm a cranky old man. And she's tragically optimistic. And, you know, I wish that I had a little more of that in me. But I think I'm too much of the...
pessimistic?
I know that people hear that, you know, and people hear me bitch a lot, but it's rooted in things can be better.
Yeah. I think I like to try to think I'm like that too.
And I haven't done the things that I've done out of being a pessimistic, curmudgeon, cantankerous, old. Those things don't necessarily happen to people like that. The things that have happened and, the records and everything else and the friends and the relationships that I have that I maintain, I think have come from a good place. But I'll be the first person to admit, you'll know. And I know my students at UTS would be like, yeah, man, he fucking lay out San Antonio. But
hour was this right here.
but I also, I would also say, if you really want to do things, you can make things happen. It might not happen here. You might need to go somewhere else.
Yeah.
Where it's more conducive, that type of environment. But, you can make things happen. And I always try to reinforce that. And you can, and again, and I've said it many times today, things can happen here. I just don't think we have the right people in place to make those things happen.
Yeah.
I really don't, unfortunately. And the reason I think that is just from the things that I've heard and seen, the feedback that I've gotten or that I haven't gotten, you know, that have come from genuine places of, I would like to talk to students and help. No response, no thank you. I'm like, that's not a good leader. That's not professional. That is bad on many, many levels. You know, and you know who you fucking are. And shame on you, because you're in a position to make things better and you're not. So yeah, my kids, Dory, and my mom.
All right. The next one is one person you would like to forgive, and the vice versa, one person who you would want to forgive you, and if possible, if you could say why.
Oh, one person that I would like to forgive.
Yeah.
Gosh, that's a good question. And me not answering it would really be a weird indicator of my character.
Now you're like, I better make one up.
Well, no, it's nothing like that. I think the one person that I would like to forgive, I know who the one person is that I would like to forgive, but I'm not going to say it's a he, and I won't say their name because I'm not going to give them that. It's far too deep. It's far too deep. I'll let you know off.
Okay.
But it's not anything that I'm going to share with people in this type of form.
For sure.
Yeah. So yeah, I would like to forgive them, but I'm not going to say who it is.
What about the reverse, the opposite of it?
Gosh, you know, I think that we probably, you know, I think as like parenting is the most wonderful thing like any of us could ever do, you know? But then with parenting, you know, every human being on this planet has baggage, except for maybe a few Buddhists like Thich Nhat Hanh and some other people. But we all have baggage. And this baggage influences who we are as people and the way that we might act, you know? And so I hope that someday that, I think we are all fearful as parents more than anything in the whole universe of messing up our kids somehow. So in the future, my future children, I hope that they are able to forgive me for some weird lesson that I stuck in their head that probably didn't need to go there. And what that is, I don't know. But I know that there are things that my mom did when I was growing up that I'm like, you know, she should have done that differently. And I'm kind of mad at her about that. And I have told her as much in a couple of times. So that my children in the future will be able to look back and go, Dad wasn't easy enough on us about the type of music that we liked. That's one thing that I'm like, man, you kids listen to shit. And my daughter got mad at me one day. She's like, well, I should be allowed to listen to that. I'm like, yes, you are allowed to listen to it, but it is crap. So something like that.
What is she hearing?
She's like on this country music kick right now.
Oh, really?
And it's not classic country, which I'm cool with. You know, like I like the old, you know, like, yeah, Tammy Wynette and Loretta Lynn and old Willie and new Willie, you know. And there's new people too, but the most of it that you hear on the radio is just so cookie cutter.
It's their pop music now.
Oh, man, it's like Play-Doh Fun Factory. They're just pooping out, you know. It's the same stuff. And the lyrical content is just the worst shit, you know. It just perpetuates this culture of ignorance. And so I'm constantly feeding my daughter.
I can't tell if you're talking about country music or, you know, the southern rap scene right now.
Right.
I'm
I'm always giving Stormy, both the kids, like, here's Bjork.
yeah.
You need to listen to, here's Badfinger. Here's Blondie. Listen to, and with Bjork and Blondie, it's also a matter of, these are great female role models.
Yeah.
Listen to this stuff and find out more about them and who they are, not just as artists, but what they've done to, promote how amazing women are and how shitty men are as a whole, So I'll want forgiveness for those types of things from my children later on in life. Pokemon is stupid. Why? That doesn't make any sense. I know it hurts their feelings, but I just look at it and I go, what is this cartoon is moving so quickly, I can't even process it. I feel like their brains are being reprogrammed. So
you weren't a Pokemon Go fan last year or whatever that shit came out.
I'm just like, can we quit stopping and doing this is dumb. Like, can we go to the store and not make 5 stops on the way home? And we're talking HEB is right there. So that, like, forgive me for my faults when you're older, my children. Please. Because I know I will need that.
All right.
That's about as real as I can get there.
There you go. That was good. Where you see yourself in 3 years?
I'll still be working on music. And we will probably be living in New Braunfels. That's our plan right now. We're kind of stuck in this area of Texas because, the things. So probably living in New Braunfels. And, working on music, beyond that, I don't know, because that's all I'm doing right now is working on music, and that's what I know. I know music in the industry. I would like to teach again, but I want to teach in a program that is going to be supportive of the discipline, not just because it's a requirement of NASM or whatever, and that's kind of what was happening at UTSA.
Yeah.
Not to talk shit about UTSA, but the leadership that was there, who is now gone, he did a lot of damage, I think, and I'm not the only person that thinks that. And I don't care if he sees this, I would be really surprised. I'm not saying his name.
Yeah, we're not putting up the numbers yet, so I think you can.
Yeah. But I really...
Not that you have to say his name, I'm just saying we're not putting up those numbers yet.
I totally enjoy teaching.
Yeah.
I really do. And I would do it again in a heartbeat. The bad thing about, my industry and what I do, and you know this, you're totally aware of this, being a music industry professional, is there aren't a lot of jobs here in San Antonio. They're in Austin. And beyond that, you have to go to another music city. So you're going to Nashville, LA, San Francisco, Seattle. If you're working in like rights administration or publishing, licensing and stuff like that, a lot of that's is in LA. That's where most of the music supervisors are. You got Publishers Row, Music Row in Nashville. The big publishers are also in the big music cities with big media cities. The work it doesn't exist here. It doesn't exist here.
I mean, that whole I'm happy here, literally my main motivation to move right now is not even, like I said, it's less out of anger and unhappy. It's only because I can't do another normal job here. You know what I mean? It's like, so that's why, even though I've been slower to do it, like it'd probably be more next month-ish, but like I've been saying, maybe even on a subconscious level, I'm forcing myself, because any little job opportunity that I would have been doing these past few months, I've just been saying no or not taking it. Even things like working ACO, I'm not even gonna do it.
Yeah.
because it's just not there no more. Like I just
Yeah.
don't want to do it. It's like, look, I want to do the real. I want to do something real, and the entertainment stuff. Yeah, like it's always hard because a lot of people like to look at it negatively, but it's like super hard here because it's probably one of 100%, right? 1% of super small here.
Yeah.
Versus you go to Nashville, LA, whatever. Still hard, but now it's their industry though, so it's like
Right.
it's going to be maybe 50 to 60 to 70 of the 100 of
Sure.
the pie. You know what I mean? So
Yeah. And when you go to the other bigger cities, in any kind of creative capacity, there's also more opportunity for you to not only get in with, an organization that already exists, but to create or to make your own statement too,
Yeah.
where people are going to be way more receptive
yeah.
because they know the struggle. Like in San Francisco, Silicon Valley, you have all the tech people and whatnot that are going to be more receptive to, that's a cool idea. I know a venture capitalist or an angel investor. Let's talk to them, because I've been there and I've done it, and you don't have that in San Antonio. It just doesn't exist here. And I'm not saying that to be mean. It's just a fucking fact.
Yeah.
It doesn't exist here. It exists in the UT Health Science Center, where lots of innovation comes from that. Okay. But that's it. That's really it. Besides that, the only other industries you have here in San Antonio are hospitality, military, and then of course the cybersecurity and storage, IT. But who knows how long that's going to last?
I feel like the tech stuff is probably going to keep growing. I don't know how fast,
right?
But I mean, like it just from that whole geekdom movement that was started maybe a year or two ago. And I've had a friend get involved. He got an IT job just from being around there.
Yeah.
Way too much,
Right.
So I think
but
we're going to grow in those areas, but I don't know if any of the entertainment or even our music scene, this local stuff, probably we've talked about that enough. But what is growing is the macro, right? The famous people are finally starting to come here for whatever reason.
Yeah.
At all levels. Tobin Center is finally booking a lot now for some reason. Like Nas is coming to Tobin in maybe like 2 weeks or something. Aztec is a Live Nation thing.
Right.
I've spoken to someone, I won't say that because we love not saying names today. Spoken to a company that is interested in buying a Sunset, station.
Right.
For booking major acts there again, like used to happen.
Yeah.
Paper Tigers booking famous people.
They're being booked by outside entities.
Yeah, I know, but it's still happening.
But it's happening. It's happening. It's happening.
Limelight is. I wonder if they're slowly trying to maybe we'll just have local people on a weekday or something, because that used to be a local and it still is.
Yeah.
But I've noticed now every now and then you're famous, and you're famous. Like John Wayne's coming to Limelight for some reason.
Right.
So I'm like, I don't know why. It's cool, but I mean, I don't know if that'll trickle down and help us at all. No, you good. I don't know if that'll trickle down and help the local machine. I don't know, but at least if you're a consumer,
right?
You got reason to be excited.
No, sure, absolutely. Absolutely. So. But the Tobin, they need to step up their game if they want to continue to get artists like that in there. I've been to a couple of shows at the Tobin that have not been at capacity or near capacity when they most certainly should have been. And that has to be happening on the marketing side. When, we saw Katie Lang, Laura Veers, and Nico Case there. Katie Lang alone should have filled up the Tobin. But Nico Case and Laura Veers too, with their power, maybe not as much, but the three of them together, that venue was at 40%. They actually come on down, get the better seats. We'll just go ahead and move on. Yeah, what? Really? When I go to shows like that there, and I see that there's something happening, or there's something not happening.
Yeah, I saw Dream Theater there last December.
Yeah,
it was packed though. Like
Yeah.
I was forced to buy a good seat because
Yeah.
I was in like those balcony thingies
Right.
just because that was all that was available. I was like, look, I want to see them. I'm going.
Yeah.
So, I mean, but that's the only show I've seen in the big one. I saw a jazz show, Kristen Scott, but in that little baby theater they have to the side.
In the back, yeah.
And that was, I guess, packed for what that could be.
Right.
But those are only two shows I've even been there at that place, though.
Yeah.
So,
I mean, we've been to shows there that have been packed, but it's Duran Duran.
yeah.
That's going to be. How could that not be?
Yeah.
And plus the city's so stuck in like 80s night. Okay, whatever, cool. Cover bands are the best.
Yeah, man.
But yeah, there's been a couple shows where I've looked around, and especially the Langmuir show, I'm looking around going, no way, this is embarrassing.
This band, I don't even want to ask this question because I feel like we're just real good at talking about shit. But I mean, like, do you think one of the issues here was local music never really could infiltrate downtown? Like Austin has it.
Yeah.
I don't know nothing about San Francisco. I would imagine they have it, right?
There's venues all over the place in San Francisco.
Yeah, but I mean, we've always been stuck to Outkast, like if a local artist is downtown, he's probably opening up for somebody, and he probably got lucky to even get that gig, you know what I mean?
Well, there's too much sprawl for one.
What do you mean?
In San Antonio.
Like
It's
spread out?
It's too hard for some people, you fight your way home to wherever. The people that have expendable income,
Yeah.
they're settled. I have friends that, they're my age, my generation, that live out, in Stone Oak and other areas, and they're not going to lots of shows.
Yeah.
Just because they're music fans. These are friends that collect music and whatnot, and if they go to a show, they wait for the Austin show to happen. And they'll go to shows here, but not too often. And they'll miss shows where I'm surprised. Like, I can't believe you missed that. Yeah, it's too much of a hassle.
It's 30-minute ride, and then you gotta fight for parking,
Yeah.
And you would think Austin would be the same thing, but maybe it's just because I went there so much. I have never had to fight for parking, even during South by, because maybe I just know it so well.
Yeah.
But I don't go to downtown enough here that every time I go, I dread it because I'm like, fuck. Like what am I going to do? Because I don't have enough experience going down there because there's never been a reason to go down there a lot.
We had the Cameo way back in the day. There was a time, when I was in high school, we had the Showcase, and we would get all the Wax Tracks. Industrial stuff would come through there, that was always kind of a thing here in San Antonio. So Ministry and Revolting Cocks, saw 9 Inch Nails there. Medium-sized club, 800 people maybe. Yeah. Punk bands, regional, national would go to the Cameo, Marching Plagues, Agent Orange, JFA. Big boys come up from Austin, the Dicks. There's just never been a thriving local music community.
So, like, supposedly I always hear, like, this is a tourist town.
Yeah.
And we've never had access to the tourists, so they can't even spread the word of a local anything.
Right.
Because unless they're that guy who, like, I don't want to do downtown, I want to see what the real place is, well, then they're not going to find any of the strips or anything else weird out there.
Well, that could be a function of that group that's trying to do things in the Chamber of Commerce.
Yeah, I actually argued one time about that with, I think it's Councilman number 1. You can Google that, so I don't have to say the name. And it was a pretty funny conversation, because I'm saying stuff, but then like his man came, whatever. I don't know what role that guy plays, but he's like, "I got this here, sir," and I'm gonna answer all the questions for you. And then after more answers that he didn't like. He's done here, and he just scooped him away. Yeah, I'm not even interviewing him or nothing, but it was just like
yeah.
But yeah. But anyway, the next one is what's your perfect day?
Oh man, gosh, really, my perfect day? It's gonna sound so sad and old man like. I mean, there's been variations of that throughout life. you know, I have two. I've got two perfect days. Um, so just hanging with the family in basically any capacity. It's just us, but there's no pressure involved. Like there's no real plans or anything. It
Yeah.
could be spread, or it could be planned. Just chill with the family. Um, or being in the studio in a proper studio with a great bunch of musicians, um, working on something meaningful. Yeah, that's what I really miss the most.
You don't
Yeah,
get to
'cause
track many records
I
anymore.
get the family stuff. We get to do that. Um, no, I don't. And a lot of it's mixing and a lot of mastering. So that like this, my trip to San Francisco this weekend is really great because I'm going. That's home for me. It
Yeah.
really is. It's home. That's home for me. Um, even though I was born and raised here, that's home. Because I'm gonna be with six really amazing, intelligent, gifted people in a really great studio working on songs that I know are really great songs because I've heard the demos in a city where anything goes and nobody blinks an eye. And that to me is one of the most beautiful things about San Francisco. And the culture has shifted because of the tech. Tech has taken over so much of that city, and a lot of the art community has been pushed out. But it's still very much a city where anything goes. The stuff I have seen in San Francisco, I've seen things where I'm like, well, can't undo that. That's in my head, you know. But it didn't bother me, because it's that person's not hurting me. That's not going to have any effect on my life other than I just saw that. And a lot of that city lives like that.
Mm.
Where, man, I have been harassed so many times for wearing a t-shirt, just a simple t-shirt statement, or having a sticker on my computer, where people have made it a point to come to me and say, like, I don't like what you have to say. And I'm like, well, then just ignore it then. Like, how's that going to affect your life? So, family and studio.
Mm.
San Francisco. So, I cannot just getting off the airplane and walking into the air, even in the musty, stagnant airport air. I know, my eyes could be closed and I know where I am. You could blindfold me and we're going somewhere, and I would, as soon as I hit the door, it's going outside. I'm home. You feel it. You fucking feel it in the air, man. It's energy. Just awesome.
Phil Collins moment.
Awesome. Yeah, man. Just energy, people, and my good designer friend who I'm going to see while I'm out in California, because Dory had to hear me talk about it. He actually said it. I didn't even initiate the conversation. He was like, San Francisco, every time I get back and I cross the bridge, oh, I feel it in the air. And I looked at Dory and I went, that's what I mean. He's saying it too. It's not just me. She's like, okay. And then she finally went and she,
Hey man, that was my favorite place last year when I drove out everywhere. The most interesting vibes I got were from there in Hawaii. And Hawaii
oh yeah.
was a different vibe too, but I don't know if it was just because it felt like a nicer New York.
Yeah.
like San Francisco.
Yeah. Yeah, man. Anything goes, man. It's cool. It's so nice to just be a part of that.
Yeah.
People are doing something. It's just a positive place. And even my girlfriend, she actually said to me, she goes, you're a different person out here. And I said, yeah. I go, it's like, it's home for me. I go, good things happen. I came out here and I worked really, really hard, and I saw that materialize in front of me. You know, like it was reciprocated, and that is really special when people see the fruits of recognize the fruits of your labor, and there's feedback, and you got that happening in the community. It's pretty fucking awesome, man. Like it can't there's you really can't even articulate it. It's hard to even state, and it just feels good. And other people recognize that. They see it, they know it. It's pretty great, man. I'm already there. I'm already there, man.
All right. Where does the will to carry on come from? Does it come from within? Come from some destiny? I know it doesn't come from this one for you, but I always mention all of them religion. You know, like
No.
yeah, where does it come from
No,
for you?
It definitely doesn't come from that.
Yeah.
At least for me.
Yeah.
Other people, if that's your bag, cool.
For sure.
Go roll with it.
I'm just
People
asking.
No, yeah, I mean, we all have to find power in something. Going, state the question again?
It's like where does the will to carry on come from? Like for you?
Okay. I think going back to my statement about compassion and humanity, you know, and how many people might think that's bullshit coming from me, and it really isn't. You know, I have battled lots of things internally. You know, I think most of us probably do. If you say that you don't, then I think you're a liar.
That's my number one enemy, man.
Yeah.
Like I'm trying to make peace with myself. I just got into meditation this year.
Yeah.
That's why I feel like I'm a better person just because of that.
Yeah,
that probably helped. But I still haven't won yet.
No, I don't know if we ever do. You know?
I know.
That's enlightenment. That's nirvana. And anyhow, well, you know, my kids, you know, I want them to have better. I don't want them to have better things. I want them to have more meaning in their life.
More fulfillment.
Yeah. You know, better things, that all that shit's just fucking ephemeral. So, you know, so just more meaning in their life. You know, so that certainly keeps me going, and knowing that I have music in my life. You know, I think the only thing for me personally that would ever be totally devastating would be loss of hearing. I don't fear anything in life.
That's why you see me wear earplugs. Like,
yeah.
Even when sometimes if we're out Pecker or whatever, I'll wear like if it's too loud or something.
Yeah.
I'm paranoid of that shit.
Yeah. So that's what keeps me going, you know, like just wanting the kids to experience more, you know, being able to be a part of that.
Mm-hmm.
Everything changes once you have a kid. You know, everything changes. It's like I'm not going to say that. I'm not going to say that here because that'll be on the internet. I was going to say something else, and it could not be. It could potentially be hazardous for me. It has to do when I was younger.
Yeah.
But yeah, more meaningful experiences for the family.
All right. This is the last one finally. This one's called I Wish, I Wonder.
Mm-hmm.
I like that I did. I wish I had done. I wonder what would have happened if.
Oh, yuck. I like that I chose the career path that I did, even though it is causing me more grief than you can possibly imagine right now because of where I am. The I wish part. Gosh. Well, I wish that I had more. I wish that I had more time with the kids. That's pretty simple. I wish that I had more time with the kids. Sometimes there are things that I can't do, and I think I have been to almost every single event at this point. But there's still. I said I wish that I still had more time. I wish there was more time in the day. Even though time is 100% completely irrelevant to everything when it comes down to it. And what was the other one?
I wonder.
Oh, I wonder how much more life is out in the universe.
It was meant to be more like, I wonder what would have happened if.
I wonder what would happen if I went out into the universe and discovered more life.
There you go. There you go.
Because if we are that fucking heliocentric, right? That's in that term, right?
Maybe.
Heliocentrism. We are the only ones that exist in the whole universe. How bold is that to say? How can, fuck that. There's other life out there. So I wonder what it would be like to meet and encounter other life. Like, what is it? Is it just a gas? Is it a single-celled organism that has all the knowledge?
A lot of us contain it to this. Yeah.
Nah.
Yeah, I know. Like, a lot of us contain it to, it's just going to be a different variation of arms and limbs.
Yeah.
But yeah, gas. Wouldn't that be something?
Like, what is it? Like, there's other life out there, there's other intelligent life out there, but what is it like? What is it
I
like?
love Doctor Who, but man, it all looks like us.
Yeah,
Right?
it's like that in everything.
Yeah, right.
Also, going back to I wish and the whole religion thing, I think that I think that going back to compassion, I think that the human race is going to do a whole lot better when we put more faith into ourselves and what we can achieve than into other things. I'm not going to say what those other things are. You can do whatever for anybody, but I think that we need to be putting more faith into. We need to put more faith into us.
I mean that's I can't speak for the world, but I mean that's like a general problem maybe for all of America. Like, I feel because I'm like 32 and I'm only now just starting to look within,
Yeah.
and see what I can do, like really.
Right.
But that's why I was saying I was grateful for the perspective for the San Antonians and all that, because a lot of times when you only have that singular perspective, like, it's not even that you don't want to look within, the idea of looking within never even comes. So you never even do it,
Yeah.
because it's never been a thought, it's so foreign,
And I'm always looking, yeah, man, sometimes too much. And, that's one of the most painful things we can probably do is just sit there and how can I improve who I am, my path or whatever? Weird things come up.
Yeah, man, and it's scary too, but I don't know, at least for me, who, like, I'm always trying to look for the quote-unquote answer or whatever, like, I think it's important to do,
Yeah, I don't know that we're ever going to find any answer, but if
there isn't.
But we have to keep on exploring.
Yeah, it's journey. It's more a journey thing than ever so a destination. A destination is you're done. That's what it is.
Exactly. Yeah.
But it's pretty much keep moving forward, enjoy the journey,
Yeah, be mindful.
Yeah.
Be, present, looking forward. And that's my biggest fault. My biggest fault is I waste too much energy on the past. Far too much.
That's why I like the middle section of all those questions is just pretty much a self-talk meditation I do.
Yeah.
So I still do it pretty much daily, but especially in the beginning, yeah, like a lot of that middle section is just about me forgiving myself and stuff.
Yeah.
Because whether they forgive you or not, it's just more for me to let go of that shit so I can just keep moving forward anyway. Because it's like, why am I dwelling on the past?
Right.
So, like, all that what if shit is nice alternate dimension.
Yeah.
What if comic,
Those were great comics.
They are.
In the Marvel series?
I mean, yeah. What if Hulk killed Wolverine?
Yeah.
What if
Doctor
was
Strange?
Punisher? Yeah, all kinds of shit.
I've got a few of those, man.
But yeah, but they're not canon, so fuck them. So fuck.
Right.
They ain't never coming into the Marvel MCU,
Yeah. You looking forward to Ragnarok?
Oh fuck yeah. Yeah.
Looks good, doesn't
Even
it?
if it does. I mean, they ripped off Guardians, but I mean, like, but maybe that's why it will be good now instead of the first two. You know,
I like Kate Blanchett too.
she looks amazing,
Yeah, she does, man.
and people are finally starting to say the idea that I thought when I heard her talk, she speaks as though she says she's the god of death, right? Versus maybe the comics might have a more like she's this hell person, you know, like the devil,
Yeah.
essentially, like her and Loki kind of sharing that role. But I'm like, okay, maybe they're gonna do the Thanos story instead of this death manifestation thing that may or may not exist. It does
Right.
exist. Kate Blanchett, you know, like,
Right.
she's pretty too, so it makes more sense, you know, like instead of me being in love with this thing that may not even be existing, you know.
Right.
Which is cool story too, but I know they're like, look, man, we need these people in the seats. They might not buy that shit. You know? Like, so I'm like, all right. I hope they go with the whole thing, because that's what I'm really, all these movies are cool, but I'm like, look, now that I've seen some Thanos, I'm like, I'm ready for that. I'm ready
Yeah.
for the impossible $1 billion movie. So I'm ready to see that and murder every hero movie, like just and the fact that they're all gonna die too. Look, actual murder in there, you know, like
Yeah.
because yeah, that is something that we as kids never, let alone seeing any of the comic movies. Once they started coming, the things people stayed away from were the god enemies.
Right.
Thanos, Apocalypse, though he finally came, but look how disappointing. That's why they stayed away from all of them.
Right.
That's why they stayed away from Galactus, because when they bring him, they usually
Oh, that was
disgusting. Yeah,
That
exactly.
was a nightmare.
Look at your face immediately.
Yeah.
That's
Like,
why.
that's not Galactus.
That's why you stay away from all the god enemies. So Thanos looks like the first one who's like, no, like he's gonna still be God, you know, like, and he's gonna
Right.
do some things, you know, like so far he's only sat in chairs, but I mean,
Right.
it looks like when he gets up off that chair, things happen, you know.
I'm looking forward to the new Hellboy.
Oh, really? You excited about that one?
I am, man.
I'm like I'm like middle. Like I'll watch it. I'm not anticipating it. I'm not anticipating. They were all right for me. Like I didn't read the comics. I only watched those movies,
Right.
so they're fine. I mean, he surprisingly still looks like Perlman.
Yeah.
Like,
He's like a deeper, like a more crimson,
Yeah.
sinister red. than
Yeah.
the-
What did you think of that actor turning down because of the whitewashing the role? Did you hear about that?
Oh, yeah. I thought I really liked that.
yeah.
He was, what's his name in Deadpool?
Well, was it the bad guy?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Ed Skrein? Skrein?
Can't remember his
Skrein?
I was not a big fan
Yeah.
of that idea of him in there. He was good in it.
You know who
but-
looks cool, man?
Who?
Cable.
Oh, he looks great.
Man.
So what'd you think of Domino?
I'm not very familiar with Domino.
So I was disappointed because she looks more like, I ain't gonna, you know, everybody right now the whole Annie washing is the thing right now
Right.
to complain about. So she's black actress and she has the fro. So she looks more 70s kind of exploitation
Mm-hmm.
versus the comic book anime look would be she's white faced.
Yeah.
Not even a white person, like literally like white, like Morbius, like vampire,
Right,
that
right.
type of white, you know? And I kind of would have preferred that because like I hate the realistic approach of anything in these movies, because it's like, look, we're watching comic book shit. Give me dumb impossible shit. I
Right.
love the Chris Nolan movies, some of my favorite movies, but the idea of it being real to me takes away from Batman, because Batman's the man fighting gods, but now he's just fighting a terrorist
Right.
and a doctor with pixie dust. You know, like
Yeah.
it's not as cool to me as that. So like it would have been crazy to see this crazy impossible lady, you know, like when you see Mystique, but now she's totally realistic. She's just a badass chick probably. That's probably what she's gonna be. And who
Mystique-
knows? Like maybe they'll make her turn white or something. Maybe it'll do an origin there. I don't know. What they're gonna
Mystique
do.
was always blue
Yeah.
for me. I'm thinking maybe Chris Claremont. Blue Mystique with the red pulled back hair and the white gown.
Yes. I don't know where they came up with this. Like maybe
Scales?
yeah.
They
But they're
wanted to
like,
show off
oh,
her
you know what'd
body.
be cool? Naked Rebecca Romaine Stamos. That's probably what it was. Or you know what'd be cool too? Naked Jennifer Lawrence. You know, like
Yeah.
Which is not cool. I get it, but I mean, like, you know, like it. Let alone that those movies are bad and killing the story and being stupid, and so it's more a negative to me because I'm like, well, let me add this to the list of shit you fucked up.
They better not screw up the Phoenix story, man.
Oh, come on, they can only screw it up. Look, right now, in my opinion, and right now,
I gotta get my kids. Man.
Yeah, no, I mean we're done now. It's just I would have ended it, but then you started this Marvel shit. So
hold on, let me go. Let me go read real quick. Yeah, and now they're gonna do a New Mutants film. If they fuck up Warlock, I'm gonna be pissed. And I don't have any idea how they're gonna make that freak come to life.
I'm over here thinking of Adam while you thinking of the other one. Yeah, they're doing all these other. I mean, I think New Mutants is fine. I think they should go in more new directions. I think let the X-Men die, because I think all those X-Men movies, for me, I know a lot of people don't require as much. I take this crap way too seriously, but for me, I'd probably say First Class is the only good movie.
It was good.
Wolverine 3, the only good movie, right?
Oh, man.
Logan, Old Man Logan.
So good.
I can give you mine. It's just like Force Awakens. I give you my whole laundry list of complaints about that movie, but I mean, it's not bad, you know? Like, it's not bad. It's not with those other pieces of shit where, my goodness. So, like, all those Fox movies, to me right now, up until Deadpool, the one movie they didn't want to make that people have to leak shit out to get that shit made, that's their, like, first big movie of right now, you know, of this kind of era. So it just shows me, like, okay, leadership is crazy.
Yeah. No, it is. It has been for a long time.
And First Class was an anomaly because that guy leaves to do Superman. He put someone else in charge of the first Phoenix movie, and then the guy comes, directs First Class, and then it just reminded me of, like, you probably don't follow NBA, but it just reminded me of there was a coach, Pat Riley. You may or may not have heard of him.
Yeah,
but he's in President. No, it was Miami at the time.
Oh, okay.
But he was a president, right? So he's a president. He's just not. He don't. You know, he does president shit. He just doesn't coach or nothing. But it was like, oh, my team's good. I'm a coach again. You know, and it just reminded me, like, First Class gave goodwill to X-Men again. And then whatever that guy's name, who's usually directing these movies, he was like, I got this, thank you. And he did Futures Past, which to me, I know some people sort of liked it, but I thought it was a piece of shit.
Oh, Bryan Singer.
That guy. Oh, man, fuck that guy. I can do my He Who Shall Not Be Named rant on that guy. And then Apocalypse, he does that greatness. And man, Apocalypse to me was just a guy who likes to walk around, and he just walks like a bad Tupac record. He's just like, let's be friends, you know. And he just doesn't want to be alone. I have all this power, but I really need 4 people to ride with me, you know.
Yeah.
And they have those movies also have a horrible tradition of, like, Magneto's always the bad guy, even when he's not. He's always the bad. Like, even the Apocalypse movie.
Yeah. It's
like, what's my plan? Well, Magneto, you kind of did this pretty good in 5 movies. Why don't you do it again? I'm gonna go get this guy's body.
Right.
It's disgusting. I mean, come on, man. Like, so I expect Phoenix to be ass. Like, why? What proof is there for it to not be ass? Like, Deadpool right now.
See, I'm being optimistic.
Well, when it comes to this shit, I mean, when you just keep doing dog shit, I'm like, because the goal there is to make money. So those things have technically all been a success, right?
Yeah.
In some ways. So I don't expect them to change because they're making money.
The Phoenix movie was what I always wanted when I was a kid. That's, you know.
Well, yeah, sorry. Sorry, like,
Dark Phoenix.
And the same thing, the DC movies, man. Like I have no reason to think any of those things.
Wonder Woman was awesome.
It was awesome.
And
I was surprised. I have no idea what happened there.
Justice League it looks fucking bad.
Really? I mean, what's interesting is the stories coming from Justice League, because it went from, and I hate it. You know, I think you know, I love shitting on Zack Snyder, but he leaves because of an unfortunate reason. You know, I believe his daughter committed suicide. But then Joss Whedon comes, but now it seems like they're reshooting stuff. I believe it's illegal to give co-director credit, but they're giving him a start. They're giving him some type of like writing credit or something.
Right.
And I've heard ideas that he's like reshooting the whole Act 3. So I'm like, It's very interesting. It reminds me a lot of Rogue One. Remember, Rogue One wasn't
Right.
done till I was like, oh, we got to release it. It's done, you know. Like, so it reminds me of that. Like, I've heard stories of Darkseid was the bad guy, but then Joss Whedon was like, you guys are crazy. Now it's Steppenwolf the whole way, and we'll save that for another day, you know, Darkseid. That way he can get a real thing.
Right.
Especially because maybe he knows, like, well, they're about to do Thanos, their Darkseid.
Yeah.
He's probably going to have a really good show. We don't want to just bum rush him here with 10 minutes.
Right, right.
So, I don't know. I could do the whole Marvel thing forever or a comic book, but really what I'm supposed to do here right now is the plugs or whatever if you wanted to send people to the website or whatever.
Oh.
I don't know if you want to lean back into it.
I don't know if anybody wants to go to my website.
No. You don't want the people to follow you?
They can. They got my name. You know, I feel
Google works.
Yeah, I feel weird. You know,
I'll Google it. I'll add it.
They can.
the links.
Yeah, you know, if they're interested in knowing more, then awesome. And if they're not, don't fucking blame them.
All right.
You know, and you know, yeah, there's some sites out there.
That promo right there.
That's all I got for you.
PR director at work right
Yeah,
there.
let me teach your marketing program. I just don't. I feel weird about it. Yeah,
I got you.
it's out there. You know, if people want to, if you're interested in the project, then find me.
All right. Google works.
We can
like
talk.
I
We can
said.
talk shop. You know, or you can go, ew, that record sucks, and that's cool too.
All right. Oh, last words.
You know, me and my daughter just watched Bill and Ted's Excellent Adventure,
Oh wow.
and it's such a great film. So be excellent to each other
Yeah.
and party on, dudes.
Play Steve Vai solos.
Yeah, yeah. Put them in the Iron Maiden. Excellent.
All right.
Execute them. Bogus. Yeah. Be excellent to each other and party on.
And that's it. All right. Bake that chicken. Smoke that turkey. We done.
Thanks, man.
Thank you.
Okay. Boom. Big Shack. Ota Afni. Scoop no. Rap no. Usna. Ota the girl them as well. Boom. 2 + 2 is 4. -1, that's 3. Quick maths. Everyday man's on the block. Smoke trees. See your girl in the park. That girl was the optus. When the team went quack, 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 you man were ducking. Old tight Afni. He's got a pumpy. Old tight my man. He's got a frisbee. Trap, trap, trap on the road. Moving that cornflakes. Rice crispy. Old tight my girl Whitney. Perfect. On the road doing 10 toes. Lama toes. You man fought, I froze. I see a 10 girls then I pose. If she's not on it, I boast. Look at your nose. Nose long like garden hose. You get me? I said man's not hot. I said a man's not hot. The girl told me take off your jacket. I said babes, man's not hot. I said man's not hot. I said a man's not hot. The girl told me take off your jacket. I said babes, man's not hot. Hop out the 4-door with the 440. It was 1, 2, 3, and 4. Chilling in the corridor. Your dad is 44, and he still call a man for a draw. Let him know. Wanna see him? I'm gonna spin his jaw. Take man 6 by force. Send man shot by force. You don't know I've got the force. No ketchup. Just sauce. Raw sauce. Boom. Yo. Ah. The thing goes up. Skitty boom pop pop. And the boom 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 boom. Skia. Boom 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 boom. Boom boom. I said man's not hot. I said a man's not hot. The girl told me take off your jacket. I said babes, man's not hot. I said man's not hot. I said a man's not hot. The girl told me take off your jacket. I said babes, man's not hot. Yo, man can never be hot. Perspiration thing. Links effect. Yo, you don't know. Don't take me for one of these boys and you know what I'm saying? Man's really about it. The thing goes up. Skitty pop pop. And the poop You don't know.